Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by BYOB Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-host, John Luke Garofalo and Andrew Cooper. What's up, boys?
Okay, what's up, boys?
How we do?
We're doing all right. We're doing all right this morning. Had a late night show last night. Guested with our friends over at the Trade Addicts podcast, Rocky and Russ.
Nice.
A lot of fun.
Guys.
Can't wait for that to come out today. I had a bunch of fun with him last night.
How late you stay up?
You did a little triple show day?
A little triple show day. It's been since the season, since before the playoffs, since it's been a triple show day, but it was fun. It felt good getting back in there, but yeah, I'm a sleepy boy. Usually I'm like in bed around 9. That was not the case last night.
When did you end up going to bed?
I got into bed at 11:30 is whenever I got into bed.
No.
And then it's a whole process. I don't know about you guys, but once you lay into bed, that's when you lay down and then you go, oh, shoot, I got to brush my teeth again. Oh, shoot, I forgot my charger. Oh, shoot, I forgot my other pillow. Oh, shoot, I need to stand up and watch this. Oh, that's the email I forgot to send. And then you go to bed.
Oh, shoot, I need to think about every bad decision I've ever made.
Exactly. Oh, shoot, I need to think about every bad decision I haven't made but thought about making.
Right. Oh, shoot.
Every bad decision I'm going to make.
Exactly.
Oh, shoot.
The ones that I plan on making tomorrow.
Yeah, what's that in the corner of the room, right? You have to have those thoughts before bed.
Besides that, doing fantastic this morning. We got some people in the chat ready for today's show. Tommy over here with a rhyme for us, a beefy one this morning. So the Bruins look crazy. One might say insane. So the Rangers went shopping and got some candy with Kane. The Bucks just keep winning. That's 15 in a row. And did you catch Giannis on the Daily Show? Luka and Kyrie, they surely will jive. But since they are together, they are 1-5. NCAA football looking to shorten the game. In an effort for safety, man, that just sounds lame. Bryce Young is 5'10 and weighs $180. Too small for the NFL. He's slimmer than Shady. In NCAA hoops, Max Rice was steaming. Boys, he takes down ranked state, and they just keep on dreaming. Lakers versus Grizzlies. Morant took them to school. He put up 28 in the third. You mesmerized me, Ja Rule. Tom, you mesmerized me throwing together something like that. I hope you wrote that last night, not this morning, my friend.
I don't know where to even start on that one. Interesting trade for sure in hockey. The Rangers basically went out and traded for the 2015 All-Star team this offseason. Not only did they trade for Patrick Kane, also traded for a guy, Vladimir Tarasenko. Quick, boys, what team did Vladimir Tarasenko come over from?
Penguins.
No. They won a Stanley Cup within the last 5 years.
The Lightning.
No, I wasn't talking about the hockey team. I was talking about the Penguins up north, Happy Feet, his crew.
The exhibit. Yeah, it's from that. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's from that crew. Yeah, St. Louis Blues, where Vladimir Tarasenko came over from. But yeah, the Rangers are making a push.
St. Louis Blues?
Yeah.
That's their name?
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool name.
Hockey in general, I think, has some of the best team names of the professional sports and the best logos of professional sports. Baseball is boring. They're all just letters. 95% of baseball logos are just letters.
Not the Orioles.
Not the Orioles. That's true.
They are kind of they are the O's though.
They do have a big old O, but with
they do have a letter component to their name, yeah.
Football,
as most teams do.
Football's a little better. Like you get some pretty good football ones, but still quite a few letters. And then a lot of the animals are pretty simple. Basketball, I think the Raptor alone puts it in second place here because the Raptors are absolutely sick for its hockey.
Raptors doing a lot of work. They're carrying a lot of weight.
They are. Hockey just goes wild. You got the Kraken sitting up there at the top, the new ones. The Golden Knights logo is sick. It's all good except for maybe Jay's like stuck in the 1995 Carolina Hurricanes logo.
That one's pretty old.
You know what logo I think is a Simon logo for sure? It's the Coyotes alternate logo. Have you seen that one?
I'm unfamiliar with the Coyotes alternate
the
logo.
one with the actual coyote with the hockey stick, and it's like kind of like a desert art almost is what I would describe it as, with the moon on the jersey.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Yeah,
that's pretty sick.
Yeah, that's one I figured you might like.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm getting that on a hat ASAP.
That was my thought. That was actually what I thought immediately. I was like, Simon probably already has this hat.
That hat is showing up on stream very soon. We got Craig in the chat this morning, said, I've tried to do it and failed. Maybe we can get Tommy to do a parody of What's Your Fantasy by Ludacris and turn it into Front Yard Fantasy.
Up on the roof. Yeah.
Tommy, you hear it? Craig's throwing down a challenge, Ludacris style. See if you can rise to the table.
Not even necessarily a challenge. Looks like he's asking for help. Like he's reaching out for assistance.
Genuine ask.
I challenge you, please,
to help me.
Please. Well, guys, it is that time of morning. I hope everyone in the chat brought something to eat because we got everything else. We got the news. We got the topics. You just got to bring your own breakfast. John Luke, did you bring anything to eat this morning?
Bring your own beef. I did not. I just brought water.
That was water you were drinking?
Yeah.
Interesting.
What about you, Coop?
Actually, look, my half drinking glass of water.
You were drinking something else. I seen you. What was that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Rewind the tape. Experts, run that back. I thought I saw something else. I brought another typical breakfast for me. Seems elaborate for you guys, though. I had a English muffin with peanut butter and a banana, chocolate milk, and now I still have a coffee.
Beautiful.
Pretty elaborate.
We're getting after it. What you guys got in the chat this morning?
I have a lemon bar that I brought into my office yesterday night to eat before the show and then forgot about that I might munch on at some point during the show today. Should be
Nice.
fine, right?
That looks
disgusting.
that looks good. It looks
Here,
looks delicious.
I'll give you a nice up close look.
That does actually look pretty good.
What's that consistency at the top like?
Like imagine like Jello, but if it was like crunchy, but not like all the way through. But like, why is my Jello crusty? Maybe that's a better word. Crusty.
Where it's like it's supposed to be soft, but it's been on your desk all night.
That's exactly how I would describe it, Coop, if I had to break it down.
Sounds
We got
good.
Jolly Rancher in the chat said, "Yum,
Yum."
I think she was saying
How
that.
do you guys
To,
feel
I think
about
she
Red
was saying
Robin?
that to mine before you pulled your lemon square out, dude.
Jill, did you just say how do you guys feel about Red Robin?
Yeah.
After we
What's
said
our
yum.
stance on Red Ramen?
Literally never been.
Of the fast casual national chain dining establishments, it's not in the upper tier. Like tier 1, we've got like Yard House and Chili's, but it's in that next tier solely because of the unlimited fries. Like all you can eat fries, you just keep on getting refills. That puts you up a tier. Because like at Applebee's, I got to keep paying for the shitty fries, but at Red Robin, they keep on coming.
So who does Red
Those
Robin?
onion ring towers on point.
If you stack an onion ring, I'm a sucker for it. Yard House has an onion ring tower too.
I was
Love it.
eyeballing that. Burgers look pretty decent, but they always look good in pictures. It looks like it's in the same tier as like Friendlies. And do you guys have Friendlies there? Is
Never
that
been to Friendlies.
is it Red
I don't
Robin?
know
Is
if they do, but I've heard of Friendlies.
Friendlies and Dairy Queen type?
Dairy Queen is a different thing.
Dairy Queen, I'd put more like in the McDonald's
Or like
and
Baskin Robbins and Dairy Queen is
Okay.
like good
Well, Dairy Queen has
basket.
they have like burgers though.
But McDonald's is a good comp too. It's kind of the McDonald's of the dessert world.
it's good. I like Dairy Queen. Their food's underrated and cheap.
So
When's
Red
the last time
Robin,
I
Red
went?
Robin's nicer than Dairy Queen?
Oh yeah, Red Robin's like
Yeah.
Applebee's or like
It's like a nice restaurant.
TGI Fridays.
It's a full restaurant. Yeah.
Okay, that's not the vibe I was getting here. But
You like
You
sit down
guys-
in like a padded
guys-
booth
you guys
and have
are-
someone
Yeah.
in an apron take your order.
Yeah. Always an apron.
that's nice then. I like that.
We got Better Boss in the chat with the breakfast emoji. So actually, they're turning now breakfast. They just started out breakfast and then went to burger, then avocado, then cheese and salt pepper.
So pretty big breakfast for Matt.
Are you okay?
Why salt pepper?
For the avocado, cheese, bacon, egg toast.
Just why is the salt and the pepper together?
That's standard. Like
That's
that.
like how you. So a lot of times, like it's etiquette if someone asks you to pass the salt,
You
to pass both the salt and pepper. They're like they're a duo.
Oh, I wasn't thinking about it in that type of pepper. I was thinking about green pepper.
Oh, I can't see the emoji. I just
guys
see a
know-
little square next to the salt, so I
Oh,
assumed it
okay.
was a pepper.
I also
shaker
just
as
see a
well.
little square. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's a green pepper. So it's a different kind of pepper.
Hey, he knows what he's doing, dude.
I was like, why did you guys immediately go to pepper for green pepper? That's weird.
Tommy in the chat with the muscle milk, baby.
Muscle milk.
I'll keep that away from me.
Go, dude.
We got J-Wall in the chat saying, "Sup,
What up,
fellas?
J-Wall?
What's up, J-Wall?"
What up,
And he
brother?
said, "Friendly's Butter Crunch ice cream is the best ever, hands down." Never had
Never
it,
had it.
but that sounds like a good flavor that I would enjoy. Butter
It
Crunch.
does.
Well, guys, the first thing I want to talk about today, some news that came out yesterday that I wasn't excited about, but it does have fantasy implications that we've talked about on the show before. Leonard Fournette is expected to be released by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the beginning of the official season on March 15th, which could mean wheels up for Rachaad White, though there's a chance they bring in somebody else as well. From what I saw last year, though, it looked like they were starting to trust Rachaad White as the lead back. That was the expectation about a quarter of the way through the season. Then they switched back. Then they switched back to Rachaad White. But hopefully this is good signs going forward for his fantasy value.
Yeah. Leonard Fournette, man. The Bucks last year was just a dumpster fire. I mean, I don't know that there's any better way to describe that. This could just be a net positive move for Leonard Fournette. If he was still in that Bucks team going into next season, I don't think it would have been as good as it has been the last couple of years. No Tom Brady.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
For
No
Leonard
Tom Brady.
Fournette, it can happen like that. Like I remember early in the season there was a quote from him being like, "These young guys got to help me carry the load." And then midway through the season when he was hurt and Rachaad White was taking over, Rachaad White was like, Leonard Fournette's still the heart and soul of this team. And then next thing you know, they start looking at contracts and playoff Lenny's out the door. So Lenny kind of got what he asked for with that one, right? When he was like, we need these young guys to start taking over. It's like, yeah, they took over, all right. Like they took over your job. So he's out the door. They have Keyshawn Vaughn still, but Rachaad White does everything that Keyshawn Vaughn does, but better. So I guess now in free agency, we just look and see, do they bring in a complimentary piece like a Damian Harris or a Kareem Hunt, or do they just bring in depth? In which case, Rachaad White, he's in the driver's seat. And I mean, I don't know if let's say hypothetically they don't bring in any impactful player. Where are we taking Rachaad White? Is he RB2 range?
He's
RB back end RB1 range?
With how bad I expect that Bucks team to be, I'm going to put him as a RB2. I think it'll be similar. Like he's not a similar player, but we saw a ceiling from Dameon Pierce last year on the Texans. We've seen ceilings from good players on bad teams before. The only time I completely discount that is if it's a talent like Saquon Barkley, right? Then I don't really care how bad the team is. Rachaad White, I don't put in that category. Rachaad White, I put in the still team dependent category. So his ceiling is capped, but probably RB15, like a high end RB2 is where he'd end up.
RB15, it still feels generous though, doesn't it?
It feels high, and that's without running through the names. But if it's him and Keyshawn Vaughn and they add a Royce Freeman or something onto that team, you know what I mean? They don't add anybody that I have any fear of taking significant work from him, then we saw what he was doing with a full workload. He looked fantastic this year whenever he was given that.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And it's not like their O-line was anything to write home about last year. They had a pretty poor O-line.
Their O-line was bad. I think he's going to be one of the more interesting players going into next season for fantasy purposes because I think people are not going to know what to do with him. I feel like he's going to be one of those players where his value is going to be all over the place because you're going to have people who are looking at him and being like, Lenny's gone. This is a huge opportunity for him. He take over. He looked good last year. And then you're going to have people who are a little bit more skeptical coming in and really messing with that ADP. So he's one of those players that I'm keeping an eye on his ADP going into the season.
I'm curious to see where it ends up because having him as a high-end RB2, if I could snag him later in drafts, I'll be a happy guy. But if they add nobody, this is a situation where it is a second-year player who we saw flashes from his first year. If he is in line to be the lead back, his ADP is going to skyrocket.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing with the Bucs that I think people don't understand is everybody's sitting here looking at this team like, oh, trade us Mike Evans, trade us Chris Godwin. But when you actually break down the contracts, they have almost no incentive to trade those guys. Like, yeah, sure, you're getting back picks, but like if you look at Mike Evans' contract, if they trade him or cut him, it's set up both the same way. There's really no way to escape it. They would have $20 million in dead cap with only $2 million in savings. And it's even worse for Godwin. Like if they were to release Godwin, they would have negative savings this year. Like the contracts are not set up in a way that those guys can be moved. So I think this team honestly is going to try and compete right now. Everything that you hear from Todd Bowles says they're going to compete right now. And when they talk about the coach, when they talk about the quarterback, they were like, Kyle Trask is QB1. And Todd Bowles was like, well, hold on now. Like just because he's the only guy on the roster right now doesn't mean he's a starting quarterback for this team because we're going to bring people in to compete. So I think this team is ready to rock and roll. I think people think that they're going into some sort of rebuild, but look around that division. Whoever gets the quarterback for that division, like if one team for that division lands Derek Carr, that team is probably going to win the division. So I don't know. I wouldn't rule the Bucs out just yet.
No, I mean, if the goal is to make the playoffs, I think you're right. I still don't think they're going to be a very good team. If their goal is to play one game in the wild card round at 7-9, that's a very accomplishable goal for anybody in that division.
Right.
True. You all said, sup, fellas, lady fellas, name the show.
Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. JL just said it.
Nailed it. I have no idea what that show is.
I can't read what he said because my rescreen's messed up. What do you say?
Sup, fellas, lady fellas.
Lady fellas. No, I got nothing. I got nothing for you. Is that Moose and Keith?
No idea.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. There's another player who was released yesterday. Not sure if you guys saw, but the Falcons released quarterback Marcus Mariota. They saved $12 million towards the cap. This one, the writing was kind of on the wall. When I wrote about the team in my article, I was looking at it, I'm like, this guy is going to be released. I mean, last year when they benched him, he straight up left the team, didn't even hang around to help out. I don't even think he even went to the games at that point. So I don't know. Mariota, do you think he's going to catch on as a backup somewhere, or is the Marcus Mariota experiment done?
I mean, first, I also think he got way too much crap for like quitting on the team. It's not like it was a team that that was his first season on that team. Know what I mean? He was brought in to be a stopgap for a rookie quarterback that they drafted. He knew his place already. And once he was benched, his time with the Falcons was over. Know what I mean? They weren't going back to him. They were getting rid of him at the end of the season. Like you said, Coop, it was obvious they were going to cut him. So why does he owe them even another second of his time after he got benched? So I hold no judgment towards Marcus Mariota for they were going to cut him. They benched him. They moved on. He doesn't owe them a thank you for letting him play for a year. He came in to be their starting quarterback while they developed a rookie.
I got to disagree, Simon. I got to disagree because the way I try to look at it, and the way I always looked at it when I was in high school was that like you're part of the team. So especially if the job you're trying to get next is going to be a backup quarterback job, I think you got to hang in there and say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna help this team any way I can. If I'm not going to be the starting quarterback, then I'm going to hold extra points. If I'm not going to be the starting quarterback, I'm going to run the scout team. I'm going to hang out and have one of those Surface Pro tablets and look at the plays and then go over to Desmond Ridder and say, hey, here's what I saw. Right. So if I want to be the Kevin O'Connell next, the guy that's the backup and then maybe becomes a coach and maybe stays in football for a long time, then that's what I do. If I want to, be the guy that's like, oh, I'm not the starter, so I don't care, then sure, you can absolutely do that. But it's going to be hard to get a backup job when people look at that and they say, is this guy a team player? Like, because that's a backup. The backup is the ultimate team player.
I think it's a good like Boy Scout attitude to have. If you have it, that's great. I don't think it's required. I don't think it's required. And this is
be in the league.
an NFL team. You know, this is a job. This is a business. I think I fall somewhere probably in the middle. It's like you could take whichever route you want to take and how you want to deal with your team. You have no obligation. It's not part of your contract to be there. Be a team player. If that's going to help you get a job, that's fine. But I don't think Marcus Mariota is going to have a tough time getting a backup QB job. He's good. He's a decent enough quarterback. I think that matters way more than did he stick around on the Falcons for a few more weeks.
It is part of his contract to show up to the games.
I view what you said as positive. Everything you said would be a positive. If he was doing all those things, I'd be talking about it like, that's great. But I don't view it as a negative that he's not. Like, that's all I'm saying. Not that it is equal in value to the situation you're saying. Like, of course, that's a net positive. Just I think like all the people, like, he's a quitter. It's a job. And they moved on. He moved on. So he's moving forward. That being said, I agree with JL. He's going to land a backup job. He'll be fine somewhere. He's not starting again. At least immediately. He'll get a backup job.
Someone's desperate, unless like 15 quarterbacks get injured in like a bus accident or something.
JL, don't say that.
And maybe
the thing is, it's also a matter of, I don't know. He might not get a job. Like, for leaving the team, man, to go and just say, "Oh, I'm leaving," and then they were like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "I'm having knee surgery." That's like what his excuse was. And then, but they basically say that he quit on the team. So I don't know. I think that I don't see a need to sign that guy. He's a quitter.
I 100% disagree. But we'll see.
He quit. He completely quit on his teammates, dude.
I explained how I feel about it. He was sitting there. If you want me to go through it again, I can. But it's a job. They benched him. Every time he shows up, it's also a risk. You talk about showing it. If he shows up to practice, if he's running the scout team, he's risking getting injured. I know that's not the entire reason there. He was just done. He doesn't need any further reason besides
I think he might be completely done in this league.
We shall see. Now, the one thing is, man, the debates between Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota that year, the vitriol between people arguing about those two players seems kind of silly now, doesn't it? Yeah. Like, who is going to be the future of the NFL? Is it Jameis Winston or is it Marcus Mariota?
It's clearly Winston. He's a team player.
Jesus, Coop. Let it go.
He's hanging around. He's hanging around helping
team player
now. Team player. Keep him around.
Team player.
I'd call you a little bit more Marcus Mariota than Jameis Winston right now, Coop.
I'm a team player.
Craig asking, is being a team player a requirement to be on the FYF morning show? Clearly not.
I think it is.
Well, we had a quote
from my way, bringing the hot takes.
We had a quote from Sean Payton yesterday that I thought was interesting. He came out and said no one would have complained about Russell Wilson's private office if the Broncos had won.
Yeesh.
Which is 100% true, without a doubt. And he's coming out, and how I read that is the reason y'all are mad is because Russell Wilson sucked, not because of the special privileges he got. Like, no one would be talking about these. If, like, I was scrolling through some comments and tweets about this, and some of the stories people are coming up with are hilarious. Like, if they had made the playoffs, there would have been a little mini special before the playoff game about Russell Wilson's office and like Professor Russ and like would have a little bit about a ping pong table in his office. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been like a funny, goofy thing, right. But instead we're all sitting here just clowning on him.
I can picture the ESPN like graphic now. They do the, like the one with Julio Jones where he's like stomping all over the Buccaneers boats. They would definitely do that graphic with the Professor Russ.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
The thing is, I'm kind of glad it didn't work that way, because I don't know, the quarterback is already becoming such a larger than life position when it's still just one of 22 starting positions, and if you count special teams, one of many jobs on the team. Like, to turn this guy into like a pseudo coach and try and make it that much more important than it is, I don't know. I don't think that's a good thing for this league. I think he should be. I like the quote where, I forget who said it, but he was like, where Russ's office should have been, where Russ should have made himself available to players, over at his locker, in the locker room, like with his teammates. So I'm a little more on the side of he should be more part of the team than this like special guy with his own throne.
One might even say a team player.
A team player, yeah. If he was a team player,
you would describe it, yeah.
Then it'd be easier for him to get a backup job when he gets cut.
I don't think it's that ridiculous for a 34-year-old multimillionaire to want an office. Is like where my initial reaction was like, well, what the hell? Like, why isn't he just in the locker room? But then I'm sitting there and I'm like, that's not that weird. I'm sure he still spends time in the locker room, but he's like a grown-ass man wanting an office, a grown-ass man who makes millions of dollars at his job and he wants a desk to sit at. Like, that's fine. That doesn't bother me too much.
Yeah, Sean Payton is definitely right here. That this wouldn't be a conversation. This wouldn't be a conversation if he was winning. And I think I did read this article yesterday when it came out, and they were talking about how this type of whenever you're losing, you're gonna invite a higher level of scrutiny. People are gonna look closer to try and understand why you're playing so poorly. So
yeah,
I think he's right there.
It's like one of those things where I don't know. There's obviously going to be some sort of pecking order, but like, what if Justin Simmons came out and he's like, can I have an office? What do you say to him?
Sure.
And then Courtland Sutton's like, can I have an office?
No, not old enough.
Not old enough. So what about Randy Gregory? Does he get an office?
Too many syllables in your last name.
I think they should let everybody have an office, and they just should have like an entire office building for the play. Instead of a locker room, just have an office building with just offices for everybody.
Cubes would probably be smarter.
So the
cubicle farm.
If we're gonna have a ridiculous conversation, I'll go there.
I kind of like that though. It's like you have the guys that are on their. It's like you have the highest paid guys all get their own like corner offices, and then like the guys that are on their second contracts, they get like, regular offices, but maybe they don't have that best view. And then anyone that's like a rookie or whatever just gets thrown in the cubicles.
I like that. Cubicle farm, pecking order.
It's not that much different than how the regular business world works.
No.
I'm for it.
Let's do it. But yeah, Sean Payton, Russell Wilson. It'll be interesting to see how these two mesh, because I feel like Sean Payton has come in this offseason with this line of like, all right, daddy's home. We're time to button everything up. I'm not so convinced that I wonder if Russell Wilson is like taking to this, if he's like receptive or if he's pushing back.
I've never seen that man do anything but act professional in situations like this, and I think he's going to continue to do like whatever he's internally feeling. I'm sure this is different for him. It's not the regime that brought him in and gave him all of this authority and control. And you've got a guy come in that's kind of like outwardly being a hard ass about it, right? Like, I don't care what happened. It probably is rubbing Russ the wrong way, but that dude will just smile at the camera and say he's excited to work with a coach like Sean Payton. Can't wait to win some games this year. Let's ride, baby.
Yeah. If I'm Russ, I'm taking the old grass is greener mentality here, where I basically say, try and tell myself, hey, things didn't work, but that's because of this guy, right? So now this new guy's in, and I'm going to go with whatever he's going to do. Like, I'm going to get involved. I'm going to get excited again because we're changing things around. So even if he might not like every single thing, like, I would just try and be like, you know what? Like, clearly something happened last year, and if I'm going to absolve myself of blame, this guy needs to take most of it. So I would be buying.
And he's looking in the mirror. He's looking in the mirror as he says that, and he says, right, "This guy needs to take most of it," and points over at his reflection.
which means this guy, we have to give him some credit here. So let's jump in with Sean Payton and let's get this done. So I think they can turn it around. They should have hired Rex Ryan. That would have been the difference maker.
Yeah, that would have gotten it done.
I would have taken it to another level.
Some more news came out on the whole Washington Commanders Daniel Snyder saga, him selling this franchise. Did you guys see this news?
I did.
No.
Why does it just keep on going?
Apparently the minority owners, there are the 3 minority owners of the team, and they're alleging that he committed bank fraud because there was a $55 million loan that was taken out for the team that did not get board approval, which was in their articles of like you had to take out a loan that big, and the loan just went through without them actually getting that board approval. Dan Snyder just skipped it apparently, and so they're looking into. He's now being investigated for this bank fraud.
That just screams
great.
a man that has never had a single consequence for his actions. Like, yeah, $55 million. I'll just go ahead and grab that loan. It'll be fine. Like, I can skip these steps. Those don't apply to me. Those apply to everybody else.
Right. It's so funny that, like, to him, 55 million is not even that much. It's like, it was only 55 million.
Now, this piece gives me a little bit more hope that we won't see Dan Snyder as the owner of the Washington Commanders, because as much as it sucks in this country, you can mess with people, you can mess with organizations, but the second you mess with somebody's money, it gets serious. It shouldn't be that way. It should be if you mess with people, it's more important first, but you're messing with $55 million of other people's money that they're invested in here, right? And this is where people get serious. They don't mess around. They don't set precedent that you can get away with messing with their money.
So this isn't the end of the story either. Apparently, the other part to the story is the NFL made this whole situation go away. Is that the minority owners brought this to the NFL. The NFL made it go away. Minority owners then were forced to sell their stake in the business, I believe. And now there's a federal grand jury that's looking into it.
That sounds like a lawsuit cooking. If
Yeah,
they were forced to sell their shares of the team.
So that's funny. This reminded me that I did see another one of these that they also alleged. Did you see the thing with the logo on the private jet, JL?
That it costs $5.9 million. Oh, that he's using. Yeah, that he's using the
former
franchise
logo.
as a piggy bank essentially.
The same partners said that he charged the team $4.5 million to put the Washington logo on his private jet, and the quote was, "That's a pretty big number in terms of personal income, also for a logo inscription." So basically, like, he charged them to put the logo on his jet, basically saying that it's like advertising, and that he should personally make $4.5 million for that. That seems like a pretty arbitrary number there.
I thought you meant the other way around. Like,
No.
he paid the team 4.5, and I was like, that's a ridiculous amount of money to pay for a logo inscription. No, he's saying your advertising fee for putting that on my
this is my jet, and I'll advertise the team on my jet. I just need to be paid $4.5 million to do so.
I can't wait till we don't have to talk about this guy anymore. Hopefully he gets removed as an owner, and potentially, hopefully he ends up in prison. But that's a fever dream, right? At this point, men of his status don't often end up in prison when they get in that much trouble.
Nah, dude, he's such a dweeb.
That's the nicest thing you could have said about him.
Right, he is way worse than that, but at the very least, he's a dweeb.
Did you guys see yesterday that Brandon Marshall announced Aaron Rodgers' retirement for him?
No, what did he say?
He put out a post on Twitter, or maybe it was on Instagram. Yeah, it was on Instagram, and he said, "You're me personally. You're my favorite quarterback ever. Favorite. Aaron Rodgers, congratulations on a phenomenal career."
What the heck?
I think what happened was a trailer got dropped for the show that Aaron Rodgers is going to be on today. And in the trailer, he says, "I sat in the darkness and I thought about what it would be like to be retired. And I thought about what it would be like to keep playing." I bet Brandon Marshall started playing that trailer, I thought about what it would be like to be retired, and thought, "Oh shit, my favorite player is retiring," and went out there and didn't finish listening to the trailer.
I'm unbelievable, dude.
Now, that being said, if he retires today, on that show, I guess Brandon Marshall knew something we didn't know.
Yeah. That post has since been deleted because I'm trying to find it now, and it says deleted. So there you go, Brandon. Way to go, buddy.
I saw that. Thought it was funny. It's kind of cute.
Oh
you know what I mean? Like, he saw that and he was like, "Man, I love him.
I gotta get something out there.
I gotta let him know I support him. Gotta get a note of support out for my friend."
Yeah, I saw. Speaking of notes of support, Duke Tobin for the Bengals did a press conference, and unlike a lot of these guys, he was answering all the questions as best he could. Like, a lot of times he did say, "I don't know," because we're not there yet, but with a lot of these players, he gave some pretty telling answers. One in particular, one of JL's favorite, Mr. T. Higgins. They asked him about the trade rumors about T. Higgins, and he basically said, "We're not interested in trading T. Higgins, and if you want a wide receiver, you should go out and get your own." Which is,
get your own T. Higgins.
he was kind of dropping bars on T. Higgins, dude. So T. Higgins sounds pretty good. He goes, T. Higgins is the kind of guy that would be good for the Cincinnati Bengals. That's what he said. So definitely sounds like an extension there. On the flip side, when they asked him about Joe Mixon and whether Joe Mixon was going to be part of the team, and granted, we're talking about a guy who's currently under contract, he said, I don't know on that one. So kind of non-committal on Joe Mixon when he was very committal on T. Higgins. Both these guys are under contract for this season. T. Higgins, he said, we're not trading him. He's not going anywhere. Joe Mixon, he said, I don't know if he's going to be on the team, even though he's got a contract in place. So kind of different answers from the same guy during the same press conference on two different players. Do you think this might be a little foreshadowing that Uncle Mixie's about to hit the bricks?
It makes sense. We've been talking about it. You've brought it up, his contract situation, a couple times on the show, Coop. It makes sense based on what we've seen from the team elsewhere. Jamar Chase coming out saying Joe Burrow wants to keep the crew together. The team's cap situation with Joe Mixon. I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
No reason for them to throw a smoke screen during a press conference on stuff like that. Save your smoke screens for something that people are actually going to believe.
Yeah.
Also, I see Hal in the chat. What's up, Hal? Welcome in, my friend. And Dustin over here says, what's up, guys? What's up, Dustin? Good morning.
What up, Dustin?
What up, Dustin?
Good morning.
Yeah, I saw Zach Taylor also talking about their running back situation. He said, I think it's really hard to predict what we'll do moving forward.
It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, both their starting running backs from last year are at risk of not being on the team. Samaje Perine is a unrestricted free agent, so he's already currently not on the team at all. Yeah,
what
he's
are they
out
gonna
there.
do?
Not Samaje. So he's out there floating around.
What about their PP?
Samaje my PP. We need him in the league.
I do really like Samaje Perine just as a running back, just like a not saying for fantasy, just as an NFL player. I like him.
I've already been thinking about a good landing spot for him, and I think I found the perfect one.
Miami.
Again.
We just keep saying, I'm just going to say it every time.
Always Miami, but JL quietly says Washington was just the worst landing spot. They have two pass down backs already. Antonio Gibson and Jaden Gibson.
He's got to come back home. Come back home, Samaje.
I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Now, the spot I like for him is Seattle. They have Kenneth Walker, and then they don't have anyone else really signed. They have DJ Dallas, but he basically returns kicks and punts.
Travis Homer still there?
Nah, he's a unrestricted free agent. Rashad Penny's an unrestricted free agent. So you have Kenneth Walker, who's this guy who's a force in the run game. He's pretty good in the pass game, but if you're going to supplement a guy like that, you're not bringing in a power runner or an early runner. Kenneth Walker's amazing at that. You bring in a guy that can help in the areas where Walker might be weak. Pass protection, right? Maybe third down, very specific pass plays where everyone knows you're throwing it, right? So I think he would be a good supplement to Kenneth Walker there. And it keeps the Kenneth Walker fantasy owners happy because you have to sign somebody else. They can't just have one running back, but you don't want them to sign somebody like, I don't know, Kareem Hunt or draft like Jahmyr Gibbs, right? You don't want anybody too good, right? You want somebody that's just kind of does their job and then comes off the field. So I think he'd be a really nice fit over there. Good compliment.
No, that's a good situation for him. It's probably one of the better ones as far as relevancy goes for fantasy football, but in all reality, he's probably not going to be too fantasy relevant on most teams next season.
Now, if you want to look at, because we talk about how running backs are treated so much differently than other positions in terms of age, right? How they have the shorter shelf life. There's no easier place to look than this Cincinnati Bengals, because think about the way we think about Joe Burrow, right? Like young, up-and-coming quarterback. He and Joe Mixon are the same age.
Running backs, it's a different age scale for running backs.
It
doesn't work the same.
How different it is. It is wild how different it is. Where we look at it and we're like, this guy is a young Joe Burrow, young up-and-coming upside quarterback, and then Joe Mixon, we're like, he might be done, and they're the exact same age.
Don't be a running back.
Yeah,
that honestly is some of the best advice.
Yeah, play cornerback.
Yeah,
which sucks, but don't be a running back.
Yeah,
Chris Johnson said it, dude. CJ2K, the former running back for the Titans that had a 2,000-yard season, like towards the end of his career, he's like, if I could do it over again, I would have played cornerback.
Speaking of the Titans, we had a quote from their GM yesterday on his philosophy for team building. Trevor Sikkema tweeted this out yesterday. He said, "It's cute and sexy to play Golden State Warriors football in September and October when the weather is good. But the teams that play in January play tough defense and run the football."
Damn,
Sounds like something a Titans GM would say. This was Rand Carthen, the Titans GM, stood up there and said it's cute and sexy to play Golden State Warriors football in September and October when the weather's good. But real men have Derrick Henry on their team.
It feels like they're like he's trying to be Mike Vrabel, but putting his own spin on it.
Right. Has this guy been watching though? Like think about the last 2 Super Bowls. It's been Warriors football. Like the high flying Eagles versus Patrick Mahomes. The year before that, it was the Rams, with all their wide receivers versus the Bengals with all their wide receivers and no line and no defense. Like that is what this league is right now. This guy, I feel like he's got it a little backwards.
Oh, he didn't say you win in January. He said you play in January.
So you get to play. Yeah, you get to play the 1 or 2 games the Titans play.
Yeah, you get to go play in January in the wild card round and maybe the divisional round. But then it's those high flying teams. Then the Golden State Warriors keep going.
Then they win. Yeah, then you get dunked on by the Warriors.
Also, I see Tommy down here naming a bunch of running backs and saying running backs are the best part of the game. I love watching running backs.
True.
Like I agree with you. I'm just saying from a player perspective, probably not the best position to play. Your career is short, man. Yeah. You're so replaceable.
I tweeted at Joe Biden the other day. I asked him to subsidize running backs. So hopefully they'll step in and do the right thing.
We'll see. Keep us updated.
I will. He has yet to respond.
No way.
We might need some more signatures on that petition.
We'll get on it.
That would be cool if there was a running back subsidy from the league. They were just like, we're going to give all the running backs just an extra $1 million.
Maybe up the pay scale for these guys. I mean, I'd be curious how many, like if they looked at it on a per position basis, how many drafted players per position get a second contract with the same team? Like I want to see what those numbers are because I bet it's pretty damn low for running backs compared to the other like offensive skill positions, quarterback, wide receiver, tight end.
Oh yeah.
I bet those are significantly higher.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you're right.
These linemen, they get like some of the linemen with their second contract get 10-year deals. Tyron Smith got 10 years, $100 million deal.
Yeah, it's absurd. Maybe a running back subsidy isn't the most absurd idea that's ever been thrown out there, or up the pay scale for rookie running backs.
Yeah,
front load their career.
If the supply wasn't there, they might do that. Until there's a threat to that supply, I don't think they're going to do that. There's a ton of running backs available.
Yeah,
it's just the supply demand equation is kind of off for them.
Yep, I'm with you.
So Najee Harris is still on his rookie pay scale. So he's 25 years old, making his base salary is $1.8 million. And he's still got another year under contract after this, and then they can keep him on his 5th year option on the year after that. So he won't hit unrestricted free agent. He won't get his second contract until he turns 28. And at 28, when you're a running back in this league, what happens?
Nothing.
Exactly, dude.
Maybe you get a crappy deal as a secondary back on another team.
Yeah, that's why I look at a guy like Blake Corum who's going back to Michigan, and I'm like, dude, they better be paying him a boatload of money via that NIL because he's going to come out and be a 23-year-old rookie that's going to be stuck on whatever contract he ends up on until he's above the age apex for the position. Brutal.
Absolutely brutal.
Some other cut news or release news from yesterday is Kenny Golladay, wide receiver for the New York Giants. The Giants are planning on releasing him on the first day of the league year, which would be March 15th, same as Leonard Fournette. This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody.
Why am I still hopeful? Talk me out of it, boys. Talk me off the ledge. Kenny Golladay, are we done with there, or are we thinking?
I mean, I don't see there's only upside from here, right? Like he's not worth anything. So
that's true.
At this point, I think he is a buy just to see what he does on a new team. I'm not paying a lot, but
I was gonna say I think the ledge you're standing on is a curb. It's fine to step off and go draft Kenny Golladay or trade for Kenny Golladay in Dynasty because There's nothing you're sending.
I like that. The ledge you're what'd you say? The ledge you're stepping off is a curve?
Yeah, Coops said talk me off the ledge. I don't think we need to. You can just step off, man.
I like that. I like that.
It's probably going to get hit by a bus, but still.
Yeah. It's a separate threat.
Yeah, that was going to happen either way. That bus
played-
is coming up on the sidewalk.
He was available for 12 games this year, and he had 81 yards.
I saw that they ended up paying him close to. I wish I could find the tweet that I saw. It was like over $30 million for 43
36
catches and
million.
1 touchdown.
Yeah, $36 million for 43 catches and a touchdown.
Wow.
God, just
The
insane.
The man with
How
the million dollar catch.
What is that per catch?
That's what I was.
It's like $750,000.
Like 1.9
It's-
million.
It's
Or no, I did that wrong.
$830,000 per catch.
Pretty good, dude. That's like what pitchers make to pitch a game. I mean, I don't know though. What if he goes to the? What if he goes back?
He bought like a full. He got like a full family home per catch per reception.
A nice family home, a big nice
Yeah.
family home.
830,000.
Yeah. What if he got an apartment in Boston for that? What if he goes back to the Rams to play with Matt Stafford?
That'd be cool.
Seen it before. Last time those two played together, he had almost 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns.
The last time a formerly great but recently disappointing wide receiver went to Los Angeles to play, it worked out really well. Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
Didn't work out so well, but this is back with the same quarterback. I'd probably have moderate excitement if he went to LA. Not crazy, not like jumping through the roof, but wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 numbers. He's draftable, flex with upside.
Could end up on the Bears, maybe.
What about the Patriots?
He does the same things that Devontae Parker does, and I'm not sure he's an upgrade over Devontae Parker. The thing with Devontae Parker, well, he's going to be pretty cheap. Do you think he'll even get $10 million?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah, like so he would be pretty cheap. But the thing is, they'd have to cut Parker, and I don't know if it's the right move.
Dustin said, and still owe him another $4.5 million.
Crazy, dude. Good for him.
So Hal in the chat said, does Golladay want to play? I don't know.
That's a good question. That is a good question.
All the comments from him were, I don't know. Whenever I saw him talk, he's like, I want to play. He's like, this is out of my control. I just need to go out and make plays whenever I can. They were asking, he made like a killer block in one of the playoff games that just like set up Saquon for a touchdown. And they were like, he's like, I'm just making the most I can of whatever chances I get. So it does sound like a guy that wants to play. Just like, I don't know. Maybe sometimes when you have a bunch of injuries, it saps your explosiveness and ability. Could just be the case that too many injuries and he's just not the guy he was.
Yeah.
We'll see.
In lighter news, as you guys see, the Eagles submitted a proposal to the competition committee to add the number 0 as a jersey number. A league source briefed on the matter told The Athletic. Tweeted out yesterday The Athletic.
I love 0 as a jersey number. It screams a little bit of mischief. Know what I mean? Like it's the only one like that. Like I have the 0. All of you guys have actual numbers, but mine needs nothing.
I'm different.
Null, void,
Yeah.
0.
Baseball, I feel like 99 is also kind of like that too, though. Sometimes, but I feel like 99 is more of a clown number. Where with 0, if you're like a stud, you better be good if you're wearing 0. Let's put it that way. Like if you're a stud,
Does Travis Etienne change his number?
Ooh, that would be naughty. He is kind of a good 1 though. I like him as 1.
I do like him as 1. Who do you guys who should be 0 in the league? If you had to attach 0 to one player.
Kadarius Toney.
Oh, that is a good one. Kadarius Toney is a 0. He's got the flashiness to back it up. Know what I mean? He can go out there and make plays where you're like, that's a 0.
That's our 0 astronaut right there.
Who would it be the worst move for them to switch to 0?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady would be a weird 0. Zach Wilson.
TB 0.
Zach Wilson. You can't switch to 0 if you're Zach Wilson because then everyone's just going to call you a 0. You have to have something going for you.
Russ Wilson.
Jalen Hurts. That's a good one. I could not see Jalen Hurts as a 0.
Oh, I could.
He's a little too like
He could pull it off, dude. I think he can
business.
pull it off.
What is his
What-
number?
When you think of Zero, who do you think of?
The hero. He's here to stay. Zero the hero. Something, something, something. I learned that song in kindergarten. It's what I think of.
I always think of, for some reason, I always think of Gilbert Arenas.
Washington player.
Yeah, and
Washington basketball player.
I think he wore number 0, and his nickname was Agent Zero, which was sick.
Also, Dustin asking, I see Tommy over here. Can they do the 00, which is
That's a good
also a
question.
sick move in sports?
00 is my boy, right there on the retired number on the banner. 00 Robert Parrish, aka the Chief. That's what I think.
They are
of it, though.
proposing both.
Okay.
When people do 0, you gotta let them.
Oh wait, I'm sorry.
0.
So the 0 and the double-digit 0 used to be in rotation before the NFL standardized jersey numbers in 1973.
Boo.
Oh, wow. Jim
Just saying
Otto.
the
Jim
Yankees
Otto
picked
is 00.
Vibes. What a big year. Do you think they made the rule about the 00 in retaliation to the baseball players switching wives?
Probably.
They saw that and they were like, that's enough.
They saw it coming down the pipe. And they were like, we got to get out in front of this.
There was 2 players in the NFL that were like, hey, we're going to do the same thing unless you let us wear 0 or unless you stop letting other people wear 0. And so they took it away. Cut those shenanigans out.
Would you
shenanigans out.
would you personally pick 0 or 00 as your number?
00.
0.
That's tough, man. That is tough. I think I would just go straight 0, but 00 is pretty fly. You can't. The problem is that when 00 exists, it's hard to be 0.
Hal down here saying any corner a 0 is ballsy. For some reason, you're right. Like if you saw someone get roasted in a 0 jersey, I feel like it would look extra embarrassing.
That's the thing.
Like
That's what
as
I'm
they're
saying.
chasing them down the field, and it's just a big old 0 on their back while they're getting their just getting roasted.
That's what I mean. Like you got to be nice to rock 0. You can't just be. You can't. Be
I never once thought about this
really?
in that way. No.
Well, I've been thinking a lot about it, and also you can't be like a lame position. Like if you're a punter, don't be 0, dude. Don't be 0.
Or you fully embrace being a 0. Know what I mean? Like long snapper throwing on the 0, like, hey, it's just me, the long snapper, guys.
That's like if you go out there with a mullet playing long snapper 00, that's a dude move, right?
That's a vibe.
Yeah, that's a vibe. But being a kicker and you're 0 and the pictures of the missed kick, right? Like that's not a good.
You guys
Hang in your head after losing kick and you're number 0. That's how you get that's how you get hit with a slushy.
I've brought this up before, but the best kicker name ever, and it said it on the back of his jersey. I don't know if he ever made it in the league, but he was the kicker for Pitt when we were in school, and his last name was Blewett.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
BLEWITT. And he would go out on the field and just imagine like for the game when
he made it in the league, I'm pretty
He
sure.
did,
I'm
he
pretty
did,
sure
yeah.
it was a bit for a while, yeah.
Yeah, he did make it to the league briefly.
I've walked him out because he kicked a game-winning field goal against Clemson at home. We were sitting there, but I was sitting there going like, man, just imagine the like newspaper shots, front page, like blew it. And it's just him on the back of his jersey with the ball sailing left, just head down.
Damn, you imagine this dude's like devastating headline.
And he's number 0.
That's what I do instead of sending mean tweets whenever I'm sad about sports. I just lay in bed and imagine mean headlines about the people who made me sad.
You can have like the headline cover photo.
Simon's lying in bed. He's like, Darius, phony.
I dream about being in line at Michael's with my newspapers to get framed. And I look down, I'm like, blew it.
Haha.
You guys ready to get into some Weddle? We are undefeated so far, have yet to lose.
Oh yeah, boy.
Let's keep that streak alive. Guys, if you have not played Weddle with us before, head on over to weddlegame.com to play along. It's a lot like Wordle, Quordle, or any of those other word games you may play, but instead of guessing words, we're guessing an NFL player. It'll tell us what's right, what's wrong about that player, and we've got 8 guesses to figure out who it is.
Dustin said Jimmy Baskets probably wears 000.
Who
Who the heck is Jimmy Baskets?
Jimmy Buckets, dude.
Jimmy Buckets, man.
Jimmy Lunchbox probably wears 00.
Johnny Lunchbox.
Jimmy
Johnny
Tupperware.
Lunchbox.
Johnny Lunchbox is definitely the name of that long snapper we were talking about earlier with the mullet 00. Old Johnny Lunchbox.
What up?
Johnny Lunchbox.
Well, Coop, you got the first guess today. Where are we going?
I'm gonna do that blocking tight end that I wanted you to do yesterday. So let me pick one. How about Drew Sample?
Drew Sample. Okay, so the division is correct, but not the conference is correct, but not the division. We know that they're in the AFC. The position is wrong, but their height is taller than 6'4", so 6'5" or 6'6".
Let's
And their
go.
age is older than 26, 27, or 28. So this has really narrowed it down. Probably a quarterback, right?
There's no running backs that are 6'5".
No, not a single one. Maybe there might be one or two wide receivers that tall, right? Like there might be a
are
couple.
Yeah.
But this is more likely than not
Flacco.
a quarterback. Flacco? Is Flacco that tall?
Yeah, Flacco's
He's pretty tall.
huge, bro. Yeah, Flacco is definitely at least 6'5".
No, he's too old because they're close to 26, 27 or 28.
Oh, yeah.
Good call.
Good save.
Ooh, I was all in on Flacco for a second there, JL.
Yeah, me too.
I'm concerned how quickly I was ready to just because it didn't feel like I was committing to him in the game. It felt like I was committing to Flacco. And I was like, okay, I'm in.
You're in, dude.
What
Let's
about
do it.
Herbert?
Herbert, that's a big man.
But
Is he old?
probably
though?
not that age.
Yeah.
He's not 27 or 28.
I don't think he's 27 or 28. I'm
Um,
rolling through these quarterbacks.
Burrow's 26. I don't think he's tall enough either. Who's just
How tall is
Moose.
Geno Smith? And he's too old.
He's not tall enough either.
He's like 31 as well.
Dude, I have no idea who this is. Is this Mike White?
Probably a backup. Mike White's not tall enough, right? And he's
I
not
don't
27
know.
or 28.
I don't know. Mike White's
This is his
kind of
second
good.
year. This is
Is-
second year in the
yo.
league.
Is Davis Mills 6'5"? He's got a lot of neck.
This is also his second year in the league.
Shoot.
And this
Yeah,
plays
shoot.
27 minimum.
This is tough.
Let's think of some backups.
Tannehill.
Tannehill's
He's
too
30,
old. Tannehill's
right?
30. Yeah, he's too old.
Damn it. All right, well, let's just go with somebody.
Let's just go with somebody.
You want to go with Flacco and see if we can get some more information? We know that he's too old. Or maybe we
No.
go with a younger, or no, yeah, maybe we go with I don't know.
How old's Jameis Winston?
About that age? Maybe
He's in
29.
he's in the NFC.
Shoot.
How about let's get somebody in there. Why don't we do Mike White? No, he's too young. God damn.
Trevor Lawrence.
Jacoby Brissett.
Brisket, get him in.
Trevor Lawrence. He's in
He's
the
too
North.
young.
He's AFC North.
He's too young.
Oh, and we know it's not AFC North. Damn it. All of this is too hard. I'm typing in Joe Flacco and seeing if we can get some more
Get
information.
Stidham
How
in
about
there,
that?
dude.
Stidham. Yeah, let's go Stidham.
Stidham? Okay. Jared Stidham. Okay, QB is correct. AFC West is incorrect. 6'3" is also close, so we know this player is exactly 6'5". Stidham is also 26. I always think he's like 34, and I don't know why. And the number is 3, or is close to 3. So we know the number is 4 or 5. And it's in the south or the north.
No, south or east.
That's what I said. If you consider north the same as east.
Yeah, it's northeast. Dude, you're working your way over.
Josh Allen?
Dude, if it's Josh Allen, that's so
It's
dumb.
Josh Allen, isn't it? It's Josh freaking Allen. How did we not he's
Get him in there.
6'5", I'm pretty sure. He's 28, and I'm pretty sure he has a low number as well.
I don't know if he is 20. He's still pretty young.
17.
But get him in there anyway.
Oh, you're right. Joe, you said his number is 17,
Yeah.
and it's not Josh Allen.
Okay.
It has to be 4 or 5.
AFC East quarterback. It's
How tall
probably
is
Mike White, dude.
because he's too young. It's his second year in the league. He's not 28.
It's not
Maybe
Mac
he's-
Jones.
Maybe he came into the league
All right,
late.
it's not Mac Jones. It's not
Really
Bailey
late.
Zappi.
And not Mac Jones, not Bailey Zappi. I don't think it's Josh Allen. Tua, what about Teddy Bridgewater?
Could be Teddy. Teddy's a good one.
Is he that tall?
Maybe. Throw Teddy Bridgewater in there. Or unless someone else wants to throw a different one, we got to guess someone here.
Teddy. Let's go Teddy.
Teddy, and this will eliminate another division at least. But the division is correct. The quarterback is correct. And the number is correct. So Teddy Bridgewater is number 5. He's too short and too old, though.
Number 5 in the AFC East.
Want to go Mike White?
Let's go Mike White.
Gotta go Mike White. Case
think he's
Keenum's
too
too
young,
old.
but-
Case Keenum's too old.
Oh, it was Mike White. You guys are right.
It's Mike White the whole time. We could have got
was
this in 2
arguing
guesses.
against you, but how the hell is Mike White 27 years old already?
That's just how it works, bro. He's
Jeez
still young.
Louise.
He's still young for a QB too.
I had no idea. You know what? My apologies, guys. I held us
That's all
back
right.
from getting it in 2.
It's okay.
But we got there.
We got
We
there.
got there. We're undefeated. Guys, that is going to be it for the Daily Weddle, but we'll do another one tomorrow. We've got some more games coming up. We're about to play some fantasy detectives. Then we are doing a websites draft. We're drafting websites, and those are the only websites you will have access to. Everything else is off limits. We're going to talk about some free agent wide receivers and free agent 007 wide receivers, and then explain away some things that maybe we don't agree with in contrapuntal. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
As a longtime baseball fan, here's my message to other baseball fans, to steal a line from the Packers' future Hall of Fame quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, RELAX. Everyone needs to relax after what we saw this past weekend at spring training games out in Arizona and down in Florida. Got going, and we're inching closer and closer to Major League Baseball opening day. The rule changes in Major League Baseball is not for myself. It's not for you out there, the hardened baseball fan, whether you're a fan 5, 10, 15, 30, or even 50 years from all around this great country. It's not for those that are going to be locked in. It's for trying to generate more fans. So if they want the pitcher to go out there and work in rhythm with a guy on base, begin the windup within 20 seconds, nobody on base, begin the windup within 15 seconds, or have the batter make sure that he's back in the batter's box within 8 seconds, then making the base pass first, second, and third bigger, eliminating the shift. All of this is to make the game better. We've seen leagues, whether it be the National Football League. Do you think it's the same league as it is today in 2023, or what we saw in 2022 as it was 30 years ago? No, it's not. Is NBA basketball the same? No. How many games do you see being played? 83-79 finals. You don't see that at all. So every league adjusts to try and bring what? More fans into the sport. And that is something that Major League Baseball is going out there and trying to do. I've been critical at times of Rob Manfred, whether or not as a MLB commissioner, whether he likes the sport based on some of the rhetoric that he has spewed in years gone by. But I got to be honest with you, as a longtime baseball fan, I've been a Yankee fan my entire life. Watched a ton of Met games here in the tri-state area. Watched baseball all around. Can't wait for October baseball. Think it's absolutely unbelievable what is transpiring now and what's happening now, and the rule changes being brought about baseball. It's going to bring back to the game to when I became a fan, where the stolen base was something, moving guys over was something, having men on base, batting averages ascending, not being an all or nothing league where either you're striking out or hitting the ball over the fence. And that is what baseball is trying to do. So as everybody tries to adjust, and change is difficult, whether you're changing your diet, exercise routine, changing your relationships, changing a job, change is different. I get that. And it's hard. But let's take a step back. Let's understand what Major League Baseball is trying to do here. And they're trying to repopulate or repopularize the sport. That's what they're trying to do. They're clearly the third most popular sport in the United States. They want to make it less regionalized. This is the way they need to go about doing it. I'm all for it. For more content like this, download the Better Sports Network app or go to bettersports.com.
Welcome back in, everyone, to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. A quick correction. I was so very wrong about when Mike White entered the league. Ernie in the chat letting us know Mike White was drafted in 2018. I was unaware of his existence prior to last season, and so assumed he was a rookie, but that was just my bad.
Dang. I feel like that misunderstanding has permeated my brain with Mike White, Simon, to where that was just like a belief I also had, because I think you had mentioned it on stream and I never questioned it.
I feel like I had heard that last year, and I probably just implanted it into the ridiculousness of Mike White's 5 touchdown game or whatever 2 years ago was oh my God, can you believe this rookie Mike White came in? Turns out he was like a 4-year veteran
He's
at
been
that
floating
point.
around. Yeah. He already has an office.
yeah, dude's been sitting in his corner office for weeks.
Yeah.
I did over the break. I was scrolling through. I had that Reddit thread open about the Sean Payton quote, and somebody commented, Kenny Pickett did get a cubicle this offseason. Like apparently there was a Steelers story about he got a cube, and now I'm obsessed with like the quarterback office elevation going on in the NFL. Like I hope this becomes something every year. Like, oh, he got upgraded.
Which quarterback
to a
got
double.
an office?
Yeah, who got? Oh, he's in a double cube now instead of the quadruple cube.
What does Dwight call it in the office? It's like super cube,
Super cube.
super desk.
Cube. Yeah.
I've had a couple different cube setups through like internships and jobs, and my favorite one is still I like the 4-person box that they do. Know what I mean? Where you don't have a separate wall, but there's basically like 4-person boxes throughout the entire office, and everyone's got their back to each other in a cube. And the best part is because at least once a day, somebody walks in and says, "What's up?" And all 4 people in unison go, "Ah!" and like jump and turn around at the same time.
Ah!
The like joint startle. You accept being on the receiving end of it because 20 minutes later you're going to be the one doing it to another cube, so it works out.
That's
Tommy in the
hilarious.
chat saying sat in a cube once, but just once. We'll
Just
never do it
once.
again.
Just once.
We're about to get into a game that probably takes place in a cube somewhere. Fantasy Detectives. How this game works is we've got a series of clues that are going to lead our players towards a specific NFL player, coach, or someone around the league, maybe a former player. As more clues get revealed, fewer and fewer points are going to be available to our players. Whenever they guess it, though, they will earn points based on how many clues have been said. Whoever has the most points by the end of this will be our champion. You guys ready?
Yeah. Yep.
Let's do it. Who's running this one? Am I running this one?
You're running this one.
JL versus Coop. Thank God. I was getting sick of losing to Coop.
I've been on a lucky streak lately. I wouldn't call it a hot streak because some of these games you need a little luck, but watch out, JL. I got the luck on my side.
Okay. You guys ready?
Ready?
One moment here. Okay, so your theme for these are all going to be Hall of Famers is what we've gotten here. So all of these are going to be Hall of Fame players. Your first clue is this player was inducted into his team's Ring of Honor in October of 2022. John Luke, you're going to be going first. Do you have a guess?
Peyton Manning.
That is incorrect. Coop, do you have a guess?
These are all Hall of Fame players.
Yes.
Is this Zach Thomas?
This is not Zach Thomas. If this player was selected with the 19th overall pick in the 2000 NFL draft.
2000.
2000 NFL draft.
23 years ago. So this player is at least 23 years old.
Is this Ray Lewis?
This is not Ray Lewis. Coop, you got a guess?
Yeah.
Also, Keith coming in the chat saying, I'm an ass. This player is not a Hall of Famer.
Okay.
Awesome. Great job.
I don't know then. Is this Keyshawn Johnson?
This is not Keyshawn Johnson. This player had 5 seasons over 1,000 rushing yards, with 3 of those seasons being over 1,400 rushing yards.
Wait a minute. Say it one more time.
This player had 5 seasons over 1,000 rushing yards, with 3 of those seasons being over 1,400 rushing yards. And everybody in the chat, throw your answers in the chat. Play along with us. What was your guess, JL?
Man, Keith just wasted my first 2 picks
Way to go, Keith.
because I just
Way to
picked Hall of
go.
Famers.
Right.
Let's go with
5 seasons over 1,000.
I don't know, man. Let's go with Jamal Charles.
Jamal Charles is incorrect. Coop, you got a guess?
Yeah. Is this Frank Gore?
This is not Frank Gore. Your next clue, in 2005, this player won the MVP award ahead of Peyton Manning and Tom Brady.
Dang.
So an RB MVP that's in the Hall of Fame.
Is this? I don't know, man.
Not in the Hall of Fame.
Not in the.
Yeah.
Or not
This is-
yet. Who knows? Maybe he just retired. We don't know.
Oh, this is a mess of my brain. I don't know.
So Tommy in the chat said, I'm sorry. Actually, he was drafted in 2015. Keith. That's Keith.
You said not Tom Brady. Let's go with you said a running back, right?
Well, they had over 1,000 yards rushing for 5 seasons and 3 of them over 1,400. So I guess it could be a quarterback. Unlikely,
All right.
though.
Let's go with
2005
LaDainian
MVP.
Tomlinson, even though I know it's wrong.
LaDainian Tomlinson is incorrect. Coop, you got a guess?
Yeah.
Is he in the Hall of Fame yet?
Is this Marshall Faulk?
This is not Marshall Faulk in jail. I do not know the answer to your question either. Your last clue. This player was a backup to Ricky Waters when he started his NFL career. Jill, does the Ricky Waters connection help you at all here?
No.
Me neither.
Jamal Charles.
This time, that is incorrect. Coop,
Yeah.
what are you rolling with?
Is it Jamal Charles this time?
It is not.
Is it Chris Johnson?
It is not Chris Johnson. Two
Don't-
people in the chat.
don't
got
tell
this
us.
one.
Ricky Waters. He's back up to Ricky Waters, and he was MVP. Is it Eddie George?
It is not Eddie George. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. Dustin and Tommy getting this one. It was Sean Alexander.
Sean
Alexander.
is the correct answer. And Dustin said, it's sad that Simon and JL don't know who Ricky Waters is. Well, sad for you. It doesn't
Sucks
affect
to
me
be
too
young.
much.
Sucks to be young.
And Tommy said, wrong team, Coop. You went the Titans. So we're going to move on to our next one here. No points on that first
Yeah, I was
fantasy
going.
detective.
Why was I thinking Ricky Waters Titans? He wasn't on the Titans at any point.
He was not on the Titans. You guys ready for round 2?
Yes.
Coop, you're going first on this one.
Okay.
This Hall of Famer charges $150 to record a personalized message on Cameo.
Awesome.
It's the first
Attaboy.
clue.
Attaboy. Is this Peyton Manning?
This is not Peyton Manning. Jail, you got a guess?
Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis is incorrect. Here's your next clue. This quarterback threw for 49,325 passing yards over his 17-year career.
How many? 49,000?
49,325.
I feel like that's like not that many. Is this Big Ben?
This is not Big Ben. John Luke, you got a guess?
Is this what was the first clue again?
This Hall of Famer charges $150 to record a personalized message on Cameo.
Is this Brett Favre?
This is not Brett Favre, but I like that guess. Getting
Oh my
a little
God.
bit of cash wherever he can. He's got to pay for these lawsuits.
So far, just a quick aside, we were talking about Brad Marchand the other day and how he's like getting fined all the time. He just got fined again, $5,000, and he just tweeted out the other day, back on Cameo. Y'all know why.
That's
He's
pretty
great.
funny.
He is good, man. He cracks me up.
Here's your next clue. This player was on the losing end of the biggest comeback in NFL history during the 1992 playoffs against the Bills, losing the game after going up 32 points. The record was recently broken by the Colts' loss to the Vikings after going up 33.
Wow.
So at the time, it was the biggest comeback in NFL history. He was the starting quarterback playing against the Bills in 1992. So, Joe, you were negative 2 years old at that time.
Pretty good.
If you have any guesses, but I think it's
Am I
Coop's turn,
first?
right? No,
I think
Coop's first.
Yeah, is it Warren Moon?
Coop, I'm sorry. This is Warren Moon. You are going to earn 3 points for correctly getting that. Your last 2 clues was this player was not selected in the NFL draft and instead started his career by playing in the CFL. And then this player played for the Edmonton Eskimos in the CFL. Were your last 2 clues right there.
The Eskimos.
Eskimos megastar.
Eskimo kisses.
The Eskimo.
Is that the one with the nose or the one with the eyelashes?
The nose.
nose?
The
Yeah.
nose. The nose.
Eyelashes.
Eyelashes is butterfly.
Butterfly. Yeah.
No, I don't like that one. I don't like that one at all.
What do you call it if you're doing?
I've never
do you-
even heard that one.
What do you call it if you're doing them
You guys
both
are
at the
weird.
same time?
Escafly?
Eskimo
Buttermilk?
kisses.
A buttermilk kiss?
Epilepsy.
Buttermilk kisses. Yeah. Epilepsy kisses.
That's probably what it is. Well, Coop, you're going to go up 3-0 after that one. Nice job getting.
How did we
Warren
not
Moon.
get Sean Alexander? That's so stupid. That's Keith's fault. If we had more real guesses in the beginning.
Yeah, Keith.
I probably wouldn't have gotten it.
We're going to move on to our third prompt here. Prompt number 3. Another Hall of Famer. Here is your first clue, Joe. You've got the first guess. This player was selected in the first round with pick 13 in the 1993 draft.
93.
I don't know. Let's go with Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis is incorrect. Coop, do you have a guess?
Pick 13 in 93. Is this is this a Hall of Fame player this time, or?
Yes.
It is. Okay. Is this?
I believe. Let me double check. Yes, he is.
Okay. Is this?
What's it going to be?
I don't know. Is this Tim Brown?
This is not Tim Brown. Here is your second clue. This player topped 1,000 rushing yards 8 times throughout his career.
Is this Jerome Bettis?
John Luke? This is Jerome Bettis. That is 4 points for you. Pulling Jerome Bettis out of nowhere on that one.
Nice.
Oh,
the bus.
I was looking at backup clues just in case we had to keep going further. I was like, I got to throw some more information in here. But Jail, you didn't need anything on
Didn't
that
need
one.
him.
he's in that realm of running backs from the olden time that I know of.
The olden time.
Also, I said
You're gonna have to fight Tommy if you keep saying stuff like
I see
that.
Tommy in the chat saying, "What pick did you say?"
Bring it
I said
on, old
pick
man.
13 is what I've got in there, but we can fact check that. Even if it is wrong, Dale didn't need correct information.
Didn't need it.
The next 3 clues were going to be in 1996. This player was traded for a 2nd-round pick and 4th-round pick in the 1997 NFL Draft. During his playing career, this player stood at 5'11" and 255 pounds. And this player made a cameo of himself in the episode The Convention of season 3 of the NBC comedy series The Office. How do I not
He was in
remember
The
that?
Office?
I
don't
I
remember
have
that.
no memory of that.
I
don't
have
remember
seen, especially like season 3. I feel like that's got to be my most watched season of The Office. Because like you skip, if you're going back to just watch a random episode, you skip season 1, then you're like, season 2, all right, but I'm just going to go one further and we're going to start on season 3.
Exactly. And you don't watch the last couple seasons. So that, it really is prime time for rewatches.
Yo, I had the weirdest Office experience where I sworn I had seen the entire show multiple times. And then one day I saw my girlfriend watching an episode that I realized I had never seen. And I was like, wait, what's going on? And then it hit me 3 times in a row. I had watched The Office and then stopped when Michael left. Like without like just and then had stopped watching and then assumed I finished the show a week later when I forgot that I actually stopped watching. And so I watched the end of The Office, like the last season, years after it was released and after I'd seen the rest of the entire show like 3 times. It got me, man.
Yeah, you can't stop there. You got to keep watching.
It was a good last season. After the season before that, I was happy with it.
I'm looking at Jerome Bettis here. I see a picture of them at this convention, and it's not jogging my memory at all. I do not remember Jerome Bettis on The Office.
So Tommy said, I know my running back. Someone has to show them love. Do not paint me as a running back hater. The NFL hates them. They hate those backs. We love backs.
Pick number 10. Pick number 10, not pick number 13, Keith.
Well, Keith. Look what we have here.
Well, that's all.
Once again, your work procedure.
I know what happened. Keith was like, well, he was 13th pick in my fantasy draft.
Wow, it's impeccable.
Pretty good Keith impression, right?
Yeah, fantastic.
It was episode 13 of season 3 of The Office.
Keith just slams his headphones down. Screw you guys.
He said, keeping you on your toes. Keeping you on your toes.
Unreal.
Also, George said he was in the convention episode where Michael has the party in his hotel room and no one goes.
Oh, I remember that episode. I don't remember Jerome Bettis being in it.
Me neither. Does he just like walk by? Like
That episode's so cringe.
Oh,
That
they
episode hurts.
all are. I hate Michael Scott, dude. I can't handle him.
Well, guys, we're going to move on to our next prompt here. JL, you took the lead with that one, 4-3, getting 4 points on that prompt. But Coop, you're back up first. Or no, yes, Coop is back up first on this one. Here we go. Another Hall of Famer is this one. Are you ready for your first clue? This player played his entire career with one team.
Noble. Is this Zach Thomas?
Zach Thomas is incorrect. John Luke, you have a guess?
Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis is incorrect. One of these days, it's going to be Ray Lewis.
Or Zach Thomas.
Or Zach Thomas. Here's clue number 2. In his rookie season, this wide receiver caught 48 receptions with 756 yards in 2007.
2007. 48. Wait, for how many yards?
756.
48 receptions, 756 in 2007.
So pretty standard rookie year back in 2007.
Yeah, pretty standard. Is this Brandon Marshall?
Brandon Marshall is incorrect. John Luke, you got a guess?
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss is not correct either. Here's your next clue.
Randy Moss had a crazy rookie season.
Did he?
I think he
I do
did.
not
Yeah,
remember those numbers.
I don't remember the numbers, but I never remember the highlights. And I'm like, he had to have more than 700.
Here's clue number 3. When he retired, he was also the quickest to reach 10,000 career receiving yards in league history, needing just 115 games to hit the milestone. Julio Jones would go on to break the record in 104 games.
Okay. Is this Steve Smith?
Steve Smith is incorrect. John Luke, do you have a guess?
Ooh, Steve Smith. Steve Smith is who I originally thought of, but I wasn't sure if he's in the Hall of Fame or not. I'll go with I don't know. I'll go with T.O.
T.O. is incorrect, and no one in the chat has gotten this one yet either. Keep throwing your guesses in there. Here's your next clue. At his peak, so his peak season, this player had 122 catches for 1,964 receiving yards.
1,900? Is this Calvin Johnson?
Megatron himself. This is Calvin Johnson. That is
I'm like,
absolutely correct.
It has to be one of like 2 guys, right? When you say 1,900 yards, that's like crazy.
It's like Megatron or Megatron the next year.
Cooper Kupp, yeah, exactly. Megatron or is Calvin Johnson?
Or is it slightly older Megatron? Yeah. Dustin getting that one. Hal getting that one as well.
Nice
guys. There was an Owens guess in there. There was a Julio Jones guess as well, but that was not the case. And Tommy coming in with Randy Moss's rookie stats, 69 for 1,313 and 17 touchdowns. Good.
Damn. 17 touchdowns. Let's go.
Dude, the craziest part of that stat is only 69 catches. He was just scoring every time he get the ball. 1,300 yards. Like he had 17 touchdowns on 69 catches.
That was like, on a shortened season too, right? One game less than what we have now.
It's on average 19 yards per reception for Randy Moss that he averaged his rookie season.
I'm pretty sure he also ran back a punt or kickoff in that year too. Like they had, as a rookie, they were like, "You're a rookie. We'll put you back there returning punts." And then like first punt, he just runs it back for the touchdown. We're like, "All right, you're done returning punts now. We can't risk having you out there anymore." Like he was
a touchdown almost every 4 catches, 4.05 catches. He scored a touchdown as rookie. Can you imagine? I wasn't playing fantasy at that time, but like drafting Randy Moss as a rookie and then having him just blow up like this for you.
I'm a genius.
God, that must have felt so good if you had him on your team. Well, Coop, you stole the lead back with that one, but just barely 5-4, which means it's all going to come down to this last Fantasy Detectives prompt. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Round number 5. Back to you, starting JL. Here we go. This player was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2002.
Oh my God. That means he retired. by 97 at least.
Let's go with
So right in your wheelhouse, JL.
right in my wheelhouse. Let's go with Dan Marino.
Dan
Ooh, good
Marino.
guess. Is that
It's
it?
incorrect. What about you,
Oh.
Coop?
I don't know, dude. Dan Marino is the perfect guess. That's the answer. Is this?
Try it again. See if I lied to JL.
Just keep guessing.
That would be wild.
Is this? So he retired like 97. Is this Jim Kelly?
Sorry, Coop. Jim Kelly is the correct answer.
Oh
You are
my
going to win
God, I
this
am the
game
winner.
10-4. Jim Kelly
What?
is correct.
What the
He's
hell?
inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2002. His birthday is Valentine's Day. He passed for 35,000 plus yards. He was the 14th pick in the first round of the 83 draft, and he opted out of the NFL and instead signed with the USFL's Houston Gamblers.
Yo,
Jim
good
Kelly.
thing I randomly pulled that out of thin air because I don't think those clues are helping me. I don't want to speak for JL, but JL, did you know Jim Kelly was born on Valentine's Day?
No.
I had
Those clues.
I had
none of
one
those
more
clues are helping
bonus
me.
clue in the chamber for him, and it was going to be this player's nephew was Mr. Irrelevant.
Swag Kelly. That would have
Swag
given
Kelly.
it away, dude. That would have
That's
been.
I didn't know
nephew.
that was his nephew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How embarrassing for Jim Kelly that Chad Swag Kelly is his
How
nephew.
embarrassing for Chad Kelly, dude. That his uncle isn't as cool as him.
that his uncle doesn't even have a cool nickname.
The swag factor with a dollar sign.
Tommy wanted to ask a bonus question. Who was Moss's quarterback his rookie year?
Dante Culpepper.
And Tommy said not Culpepper before you even said that.
God damn it. I have it closed. Was it Fran Tarkenton?
I have no idea. I don't know the answer to this. And Tommy just asked the question without putting it in the chat. So good guess on Fran Tarkenton. It was not Fran Tarkenton.
Brad Johnson.
We'll find out. It's hard to deliver trivia when I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could look it up, but then we'd have to look it up.
No, we'd have to look it up. Well, guys, coming up, we got some more games. We've got a draft coming your way. We're going to draft a team of websites that are the only websites we are allowed to use. Then we're going to talk some free agent wide receivers and then talk a little bit about dynasty trade values. Right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Monday Night Rants with Edward Rouse on Better Sports Network.
Do you believe in the Madden curse? Do you think that's a real thing?
I did. Now, I don't think it's as big of a deal anymore, but it was a real thing for a solid 10, 15 years.
Yeah, it was Sean Alexander, LaDainian Tomlinson, Peyton Hillis.
Well, LT was never on the cover. I know that.
Was he
never
not?
on the cover.
I thought he was one. Okay, well, you do know all the covers of everything.
Yeah, I do. Okay, so if you want, I could do this real quick. So Garrison Hurst is the first official Madden cover athlete, 1999. 2000, I believe they still put John Madden on the cover. And then 2001 is where it all started. So 2001, you have Eddie George. 2002, Dante Culpepper. 2003, Marshall Falk. 04, Michael Vick. 05, Ray Lewis, first defensive player on the cover.
Okay.
06, Donovan McNabb. 07, Sean Alexander.
Okay.
08, Vince Young. 09, Brett Favre.
Okay.
10 is a trick one because it's
No way you know.
and Larry Fitzgerald. 11, Drew Brees. 12, Peyton Hillis. 13, Calvin Johnson, I believe so.
You're right.
14,
No way you know all this.
14, also a trick question.
Uh-huh.
I believe that's the Madden 25 cover, and it's Barry Sanders, unless you got it for the new consoles, in which case Adrian Peterson
Oh my God.
was on the cover.
You're not cheating. You're not looking at.
Swear on my life. Swear on my life.
Okay. Keep on going.
15, you have Richard Sherman.
Okay.
16, hold
Oh.
on. 16 is Odell Beckham.
Okay.
16. 17, now this is the one I get mixed up because 17 and 18 are back-to-back Patriots.
They are.
17, I think, is Gronk, and 18 is Brady.
You are correct.
19 is Antonio Brown.
Correct.
20, Patrick Mahomes.
Oh my goodness.
21, Lamar Jackson. 22, Brady Mahomes. 23, John Madden. But yeah, dude, I'm a cover nerd when it comes to this stuff.
We now know, but that was really impressive. I don't know how.
Thank you.
That's literally 29 of them or something like that. Wow, that is. You did not miss a single one, and you even got the special editions where they had 2 people on the covers.
Monday Night Rants on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on this beautiful Wednesday morning. Welcome to March, everyone.
Yeehaw.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to March, baby.
Welcome to Mo.
We got
March
the answer
Madness. Are we going to do a March Madness bracket?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. I get way too invested in something that I didn't pay attention to for the entire season every single year. And working from home, actually, you know what? I'm going to take that back. Working from home has made March Madness worse because part of the fun was having a second window open, sitting in my cube and clicking away whenever the boss would walk by, or having it up on my phone, like sitting next to me in a meeting. Like that was part of the fun, or being in class and trying to sneak, like getting the upset alerts and sneaking your phone down and like watching with the guy behind you in the lecture hall. Like
Thursday, that first day of basketball games, March Madness, when I was in school, that was like Christmas. I would just be so freaking excited, and the game started at noon, and you just be watching, find like a classroom where the teacher was cool, and they had like a TV that you could watch. Yeah,
Dude, one year. So what I used to do mortgages, and it was like all a bunch of sales guys, like, you know, bros, and like nothing we get done during March Madness. And one year, my boss came in wearing like a full suit, and he walked in. We were already in the like conference room watching games. He walked in and put a 30 rack of beers on the table and he goes, I got to go to headquarters today. And he goes, I know you guys aren't doing anything today, so have fun. And he just left. This is at like 9 a.m, dude. Like that was like the best and most like inefficient day there's ever been. But he's like, I know you guys aren't doing anything today, so have fun. And they just left.
dude, you know he walked out of there just like,
I'm the king. He's like, I'm the
yeah.
man. And you know what? He 100% was the man that day. That was like his day. Such a power move.
it starts up soon because the conference tournaments for the NCAA start this weekend, right? I think they start on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. And that's where it starts getting fun. That's where I really start paying attention to college basketball because it's like an appetizer for the actual tournament, right? And you get to watch which teams are hot in their conference tournaments. It's where the fun starts for me. Though the day the pandemic hit, I remember I was in Atlanta at a brewery with Tim, our friend Tim, who comes on Fridays, Front Yard Fan member, and we're watching the Butler game, and then all of a sudden there was no more basketball. They stopped, and then they didn't start again. And then the people at the brewery started coming out and taking the communal games and putting them behind the counter. And they came out with spray bottles and they started putting tape over the video games. You weren't allowed to play the video games anymore. Right? Like it was bizarre sitting in this brewery as like they got the news. Know what I mean? Like stuff was coming in. They decided mid basketball game to stop the game. Do you guys remember? Like Butler was playing and they ended it. And then right around, we're sitting at this brewery and they start coming out and like they had like little board games you could play and they're putting them away. No more communal touch. Like things weren't shut down yet, but like we're going to put all the things that everyone touches away.
That's crazy.
It was a weird day. Well, guys, we were about to get into a Randall Cunningham.
Didn't I say that? Backing me up in the chat saying my boss, it would be funny if he had a breakaway suit on.
Jersey and shorts, school basketball shorts underneath. They're in the Google domain though. You cannot click the links if it leads you to somewhere that isn't Google. You can still use the little information under it, right? You can use the stuff, but I just want to make it clear. You can't exit the site. No loopholes where you're taking that site. These will be your 5 websites. Whoever has the best team, whether it's from a usefulness, entertainment perspective, whatever you want to do happen, or you'll make it happen. We'll determine our draft order here, guys.
Do JL first.
Okay, the middle, right in the middle.
Dude, this is tough because I'm like
I'm terrified I'm forgetting some.
Also,
I
and I
know.
just want to put it out there: same company does not equal same website. So, like same company
You
does
said
not
domain.
domain.
You said domain.
So, what does it say in the URL bar? Like,
Right.
a company can own multiple sites, but it does not mean like Facebook and Instagram are separate, even though they're both owned by the same company.
Yes. Yeah.
Just wanted to make that clear.
So I have first overall pick. Can I begin?
Yes, you can.
I will take Google.
Okay, that's fine by me. That is fine by me.
And
John
with
Lake.
Google, I get all of the little goodies that come with Google because Google, of course, makes everything google.com, mail.google.com for Gmail,
Actually, Gmail is he just
drive.google.com for the drive.
didn't you just say that there were different websites?
Those are all the same domain, though.
Those are
So
all
those
the
are
same
all
top level domain. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So
fine.
J-
That's a boring website.
There's subdomains on a top level domain. So yeah, give me Google.
it's a good first pick, JL.
Yeah.
Where you got to go. I'm taking some could argue a sister site here with a second pick, and it probably would have been my first overall pick. I'm taking YouTube because it hits multiple things for me.
Yeah.
A lot of my entertainment, I already get through YouTube. There's documentaries on there, there's shows on there, there's podcasts on there. I can use it to watch all of the things I already watch for the most part. They've added music on there, music as part of that process as well. The streaming services. So I've got all my movie rentals. And then on top of that, it's probably the website I use most for learning and productivity as well, right? So I've got my entertainment and my productivity in one. I need to learn how to change the shower thing in my shower. I can look it up on YouTube. That's it, though.
That's it. Yeah.
YouTube's
Stopping
awesome.
there.
That being said,
YouTube's got plenty. YouTube is definitely a first round pick.
YouTube led me astray on the shower thing recently. I was trying to, my shower's leaking, so I was trying to fix it. I bought a new part. It's a cartridge. It goes in the handle. And in order to change it, you have to shut off the water main first. And I could not find my water main. I couldn't find it anywhere. So I was Googling all this stuff and I found a solution on there. Like, if you can't find it, you can turn this screw inside your shower and it'll shut off the water. And I was like, oh, sweet. So I take off the handle and I go and I turn this screw. Everything's good. And I start unscrewing the mechanism inside the shower handle. And as I turned the last screw one notch, a freaking fire hydrant level of pressure of water just explodes in the shower, and the shower head's out of the way. Now there's water shooting so hard that it's hitting the back out of the bathroom. And I was like, oh shoot, I need to fix it. Run back before I finally realized, like, ice and four screws just getting like pelted by water trying to like screw this thing in. It was a nightmare, man.
I'm imagining like the dog.
And then I walk outside to my girlfriend and I'm like, so I got the wrong part.
I should not have listened to YouTube.
I didn't
She's
even
like,
fix
sure?
it. Found the water main though, so we got it once that correct part comes in. YouTube it is, even though YouTube led me astray there.
Crazy.
Fair. YouTube's a good pick. Both good picks so far. Google and YouTube, and also I guess I'll cross off Gmail off my list as well because that's also part of Google. So for my swing picks here, there are 3 sites I have in mind. One of them I'm definitely taking. The other 2 I both use for work, but one serves a greater purpose. All right. So first round, I'm taking my bread and butter. The whole reason I got into sports writing in the first place, I'm going to take Reddit. Reddit, love that community. The thing is, you can't click any external links, but I usually just go in the comments anyway. And you can also get the answers to many questions, just like Simon has YouTube. Like, if you just go on Reddit, you can find every question has been asked and the top answers have been upvoted to the top. So you can find a lot of the answers to information there. And with my other pick, just in case I don't have the information I need on Reddit, I'm going to take Wikipedia. That's a website that I use all the time for information, for entertainment, for everything. And you'd be surprised how often I donate at least $5 to Wikipedia every year because how often I use them. And it is, my opinion, an excellent resource for sports, especially for the drafts. I don't think any website does a better job of keeping track of the NFL drafts because you can type in 2015 NFL draft. You go there, it has all the picks, everything in order. And on the side where it says the trades, there's always a little thing that you can click and then it goes to the bottom of the page, the section that details exactly what happened in the trade. Like the number one website for NFL draft tracking, historical draft tracking is Wikipedia. Not to mention, it has pretty much all the knowledge a man or woman could need. So give me Reddit, give me Wikipedia. I don't care if they're nerdy websites. I love them.
Coop, a man of the people, taking all of the community sourced knowledge websites here on the turn. He wants to hear what they say. I like those picks, Coop. You got some information and you got some entertainment with that one, and you got Wikipedia races. You got a game built in as well. You don't even need games anymore of any way, shape, or form. Just try to get from Elvis Presley to Toronto, Canada. You ever do Wikipedia races where you click random?
I've done that.
You've ever done this? We used to do these in high school where you would start on the same page, or you would just click random and you would have a target goal, and you can only get to that page by clicking links within the article. None of the related ones at the bottom. So you just try to use related links within the article to find your way to the page that you're trying to get to. So it could be like you start with Cold War and have to get to eggplant, and like just try to find your way using links to the eggplant page.
That's wild, dude. I'm gonna have to do one of those later.
It's fun. It's fun. There's a website that like will randomize it for you and tell you where you're trying to get to and track how many steps it took you. I forget the name of it. If you just Google Wikipedia races, it probably comes up. My next one, I'm not happy about. It's not a website that I love supporting, but it's just so damn convenient.
I hate you.
And it's got to be my pick.
I
I
hate
gotta take
you.
Amazon. Amazon
Screw
is my
you.
next pick. I can have anything show up on my doorstep in 2 days. Like I got that down. I don't think it needs too much explanation.
Yeah.
I wish
Whatever.
it was easier to not support Amazon, but it's not, man. And I'm all about convenience. And Amazon is about as convenient as a website gets.
It is, yeah. That was on my list for sure.
We've only had Pornhub suggested twice in the comments so far. Honestly,
I'm
I thought it was
surprised,
going to be
dude.
one from
Good day.
Tommy, one from Hal.
Good
Guys,
day.
get those numbers up.
Yeah, you guys have been very mature about this.
Well, John Luke, that makes it your pick. I think I sniped you, but hopefully you got some backups ready.
I think he wanted to take Amazon.
I didn't think about that, Jay.
I'm guessing he wanted to go Google and Amazon just to support our
Well, my next one.
our tech overlords.
My next one, I'm gonna go with. God, I hate this. This is the worst day ever.
So Tommy said, let's be clear. I did not suggest it. I just projected you would pick it, you dirty rascals.
Us, yeah,
I think you're the dirty rascal,
We're
rascal.
angels.
All right. Now where do I want to go? I could go WikiLeaks like Coop.
Take WikiLeaks.
I could go Yahoo. It's a pretty interesting
Yahoo.
website. I've been getting into LinkedIn recently.
It's been a lot of
Been
time.
dipping my toes in those LinkedIn waters.
Why are you dropping so many spoilers?
LinkedIn. I could go Capital One, just to be able to do online.
Pay your
banking.
credit card? No, I'm not picking any of my credit card websites. We're done paying those.
Can't use it. Can't pay it.
Sorry.
If you
Whoops.
imagine you had to get all your knowledge from Yahoo comment sections. That's where your
Joe's gonna
entire,
pick Yahoo answers. Joe, pick
that's
four.
where your entire knowledge base is from.
All right, I'm gonna go with TikTok as my
Okay.
next pick here. This is my way of coping with not having YouTube. TikTok, they got long form. They're getting long form content on there nowadays, and plus, I'm a fast moving kind of guy. I'm typically all over the place, so a little short form content never hurt anybody.
It's a little high risk, high reward with the number of places being banned at, though.
Hey, I can move.
Just what if
I'm not attached. If it's one of my 5 websites that I can use in my life, I'm probably moving.
we're doing
And-
5 rounds.
There will be a dispersal draft. If Jail, if one of your players gets removed from the league, you'll be allowed to replace them at a later date. You won't be stuck
Awesome.
with 4 websites forever.
I think that's
Awesome.
fair. Nice.
Sweet.
TikTok.
And then for my last one here, I'm gonna take Twitter.
Twitter.
Take
good one.
Twitter.
The
Yeah.
social media
I'm gonna
side
keep-
of it here.
I don't love it, but I love keeping in contact with people. So Twitter is kind of the best place to do that.
Twitter for John Luke. I like it. I don't mind it. I'm trying to decide if I want to be true to myself here or if I want to grab a bigger website. I'm going with a website that I love. I've been using it almost daily for years and years now. It is solely entertainment. It's to tickle my brain. It's little games that I like playing. I'm going to take the quiz website Sporkle. I know it's not going to be a game winner, but I truly go to Sporkle every single day. It brings joy to my life on a daily basis, and my life would be worse if I couldn't visit that website. It's so much fun. It's just random little trivia quizzes that you can do. It could take 1 minute. Know what I mean? If you've got 30 seconds, there's a quiz you can do. If you've got 20 minutes, there's a quiz you can do. You can just go on there, and they keep track of all your stats. You get badges. It's not anything serious. It's not going to make my life more practical in any way, but I got the practicality with the first two, with YouTube and Amazon. I'm just taking one that makes me happy here. Welcome to the squad, Sporkle.
That is a great one. Yeah, mine was I almost took Twitter last round, but I didn't want to take Twitter and Reddit. Like, I only need one.
You'd be too toxic if you took both of those.
I would be too toxic if everything. Those are the only websites I had. It'd be outrageous, bro. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with those. How many rounds are we doing? Are we doing 3 rounds or are we doing 5?
I have 5 in there.
5. Okay. All right. I'm going to take.
Tommy said elderscouts.com. Earn those merit badges. Still waiting for my handbook, JL. Hey, it's in the mail, Tommy.
Is it showing up?
Showing up.
What are you taking, Coop?
I think I'm gonna take Netflix with this one. I like Netflix. Give me something to watch, something to do.
Not to disparage your pick here, but I was just sitting there scrolling through Netflix yesterday.
Thinking,
man, this is garbage, man. There's nothing good on here.
It is.
What happened?
It's the obsession with.
There's enough
growth.
on there.
There's a cap to the audience that they can capture. So then the only way to make profits continue to go up is to 1, raise prices, or 2, cut costs. That's why all of these shows keep getting canceled after a couple of seasons, because it costs more to sign it on for more after they found it has success. They do a couple seasons of a cheap ass show, raise their prices, go on to the next one,
right.
And it's pissing people off now. Like we're starting to see just shit on Netflix.
So I just took the idea of Netflix.
There's still good shows on Netflix. I still, but the originals maybe not so much anymore.
Right, you get the idea, is what I'm saying. So that's what I'm taking there, and then
let me guess, weatherchannel.com.
So good. The thing is, though, there's enough weatherchannel.com, just not even just weather.com, but
weatherchannel.com.
Weather Channel's a hot pick, dude. I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure I won that draft.
This is useless because it doesn't matter what we do. Simon wins this draft. You can't get YouTube and Amazon and us still win.
Amazon's
you got Google, which especially in Twitter poll format, JL, Google's going to do some work because it may not get across the point of this draft, right? That you can't click on other links, and people may just see Google and click on it. So I think you got it there. And if Coop takes Weather Channel here, also there's a subset of people that will just see Reddit and click on it. That being said,
there's a subset of people that will do that for each of those.
I think they got it in the back.
There are people that will do it for Twitter as well. If the post is on Twitter, people on Twitter seem to like Twitter quite a bit.
I'm on Twitter.
Yeah.
Coop, what is your next pick here?
With my next pick, I'm going to take. I'm going to take bettersports.com.
The Pander Bear.
Go, baby. Smash that fun button. Let's go, dude. These are my boys here. Hey, somebody's got to take them. We got to keep this show on the air. So one of the 3 of us had to step up. I'm stepping up, dude. I'm watching Moose and Keith, dude.
What a
popping in,
stepping up onto the curb.
Checking out Lisa Ann and Rick Kamla. I'm watching on Monday Night Rants with Edward Rouse. I got the whole gang, bro.
Should have taken
all my live.
Channel.com.
I mean, there's another round.
Big mistake.
He's like, I'm that's a 5th round pick.
Get all my answers on Sunday morning from John and Pemba and Joey Wright. I mean, how are you gonna set your lineups?
Those 2 together?
How are you gonna set your lineups? Well, I watched John Impemba, and then after Impemba his show is done, then Joey Wright's show comes on after that. So I watched those two guys back to back, and then at that point you're already at 1:00.
Now, where do I go with this next one? This one is like I feel like I've got my major categories covered. I've got like my entertainment, I've got my shopping, I've got my information in front of me. So it really is almost like a luxury picks at this point. Like, what websites do I want to add to my little collection of websites that I get to play with every single day?
Jail's got my email already, so it's not like I could pick that.
You got no email.
Take like
Club
AOL.com.
Club Penguin was a great suggestion, Jail, but I do think maybe the one thing I'm missing here is the ability to communicate easily with others through some sort of messaging service. So I'm going to take Discord. It's a good work communication service. I can get around not having access to my email, and it is a great social communication avenue as well. I'll just have to start directing people to contact me through Discord instead. That's where I'm rolling.
It's a good pick.
It is a good pick, but I just imagine you had to do all your communication through Discord. Just feels like such a dark way to live.
I'll get over it. It's better than no communication or doing all of my communication through YouTube comments. That sounds like hell.
Reddit.
There was a time period in high school when I got grounded and my phone got taken away and my girlfriend went to a different school. Okay. So it was like without texting, we weren't able to talk.
Nightmare,
but we figured out through the ESPN fantasy app that neither of our parents were checking that. So I would like get on my dad's computer and message her through ESPN fantasy.
What?
It was like weeks before we got figured out, but I used the ESPN fantasy app as secret communications with my girlfriend when I was on like,
were you already playing?
Yeah. We were I think I was in a league with her, if I'm not mistaken. Like her friends started one and then we were like, let's just use this app over here.
Man, that's crazy.
Dude, that's like Romeo and Juliet fantasy football stuff right there, man.
Pretty romantic. I was a romantic 15-year-old.
What can I say?
But you broke up because she sent you a terrible trade offer.
Yeah, that's what did it.
I'm not
John Lucas,
we're done.
Your pick. I grabbed Discord. Where do you want to go next?
All right. So what do I have so far, Simon?
So far, you've got Google, TikTok, and Twitter. You've got 2 picks here to round your draft out.
Where should I go, Chad? Help me out. I got a few different thoughts here.
Other channel go out there.
I'm thinking
pretty hot right now.
I'm thinking at least one of my picks is going to be Spotify. Spotify has got podcasts, it's got music, it's got audiobooks now.
Good one.
It's got quite a number of things that I consume. I don't think they're quite at YouTube's level yet, but I think I can pair TikTok and Spotify to really get my content fix that I'm missing from not having YouTube.
I should be able to tie down your ADD.
Yeah, probably
Spotify.
not.
Beat it into submission.
Probably not.
YouTube Music, Jail. If I wouldn't have taken YouTube, I would have do that because you gotta have the music. Without the music,
You
gotta have the music.
I'm not taking Apple Music. That thing's garbage.
And not a fan.
Not a big fan. So Spotify is going to be my one pick, and then I get one more, right?
You get one more.
Spotify's a good pick.
Now I have no idea where to go.
Dustin said 4chan.
No, thank you.
Work and Grind said Microsoft.
Microsoft. I never go to that website. So
what do you do on What do you do on Microsoft.com?
Manage your Microsoft account.
You try to recover your password because you forgot.
I do that.
You need to log in to do something. That's all I do on.
That's the only time I go to Microsoft or Apple is if I've screwed something up, just to see if I can somehow fix it.
All right, and then I got my last pick here. I'm gonna go with NFL.com.
Good.
Jay,
I'm gonna get all that juicy content, those NFL Plus, all that, and
Jay in the chat goes, Jail's so defeated. Amazon,
yeah.
You not getting Amazon
Correct
shut you down, dude.
I knew it wasn't gonna make it back to me, but I still had hope.
Whenever Coop didn't take it, you were like, "Oh, just one more pick." There's a chance.
Yeah.
There's a chance.
Yeah. My wife's gonna be pretty disappointed we don't have access to Amazon. I think that's the part I underestimated, is that things just show up at the house for me, but they all come to me.
I probably should have got an alternative rather than going with NFL.com.
But now you can watch, you can have autoplay videos whenever you're reading an article.
Yeah. Can I take that back?
I mean, dude, I have, like, for instance, instead of Amazon, I have the better sports app, so I'll just ask Tommy to send me stuff. Or,
Yeah, just message Tommy.
Coop's wife was like, "Hey, can you get some more laundry detergent from Amazon?" He's like, "No, but I can get you an autographed Jerome Bettis jersey if you're interested."
Autographed mini helmet. Right? In the chat, I'll be like, "Hey, Tommy, my wife needs detergent. Can you hit up Amazon for us?" You know,
where are you messaging him?
Through the Better Sports app.
You're just in the comments on here asking him to pick up some detergent and then putting it in the store, and then you have to buy it before someone else does.
He says he's got me. Yeah.
Jay, you want to change your pick? No one else has picked yet, so if you want to change it, you can.
Yeah, I will change mine. I'm gonna switch to Target.com.
Target.com.
I need to get that ordering fix, or at least some convenience to order things. And Target it's a big step down from Amazon.
But
they both kind of suck.
Though.
But
it's still good though. The Target app is pretty solid. You get food too.
Yeah. And you can get it that day. That's something I can't do. You can order from the Target app and then just go pick it up. Good to go.
Yeah,
I guess
it's a terrible system.
It is a terrible system.
But yeah, you could do that.
I guess I could also just drive to the store. I can't not go into Target. I just can't go to Target.com.
Yeah, true.
I could still just head on over there. Okay, with my last pick, this one is pure heart. Maybe I should go with something like Keith saying, a banking website. Dustin suggesting your favorite fantasy platform. That would make sense considering my careers in fantasy. But I use this streaming service every single day. And it's relatively new streaming service, but I'm going with dropout.tv, formerly College Humor, now Dropout. They have a streaming service that I watch every day. I love their content. It's improv based, game focused, and it's all original content. They've got tons of game shows. They've got live play Dungeons and Dragons. They've got short form comedy content. I am obsessed. So this is a heart pick. I know it's not a vote getter, but Dropout is definitely one of my top 5 websites.
Sounds like a pretty solid competitor to what we do.
It's they do some really cool stuff. It's like $5.99. And the best thing, whenever Netflix announced the password sharing thing, they quote tweeted it and they were like, "Share our password. We would love if your friends could watch us for free." And then like on their website now, they're like, "We want to charge you less. Like if you're already paying, click this button for a lower rate." They're just like going all in. Like,
damn,
Netflix is trying to screw you. We got you.
I like that. Good for them. Did you click the button?
Oh, I clicked the button. Yeah, I got the lower rate.
There you go.
They said they wanted me to.
All right. Am I up to wrap up this draft?
You are.
Well, my pick, pretty easy one here. I'm looking around for what I was going to use to announce the pick, but I can't find it. Pretty easy pick for me. It's easily, because I mean, what I do for work, like I need this website, right? I'm going to let you guys use it, which is pretty nice of me because you're going to need it too for work. But the other website that I use for work, and which everyone should use for fantasy football, that's fantasyalarm.com. Head on over there now. That's where I have all my off-season articles I'm writing right now, all my in-season articles. And if I don't have access to that website, then I can't do all the research I need. I don't have all the behind-the-scenes stats. And also, I can't post my articles. I can't edit my articles. I need it, man. I live there. If you give me Fantasy Alarm and Reddit, that's all a man needs to get by, to make a living. So give me Fantasy Alarm. That's all I need. Yeah, give me
Tommy
Fantasy
was
Alarm.
guessing grimace.com as you were looking around for something. No, that website is eternal. You can't limit that to one person. It will show up on your computers whether you want it to or not.
The thing is, yeah, I mean, me and Craig and everybody and Jay, we're over on the Grimace subreddit anyway. So with Reddit, I get access to the Grimace community. Although, unfortunately, I won't have access to the Grimace Discord. Simon, you'll have to. I'm sure you'll be over there.
I'll shut it down.
Yeah,
I'm on that other mid side. Well, we got our final teams, guys. Jail with the first pick went Google, TikTok, Twitter, Spotify, and Target. With my team, I went YouTube, Amazon, Sporkle, Discord, and Dropout. Coop with the third pick went Reddit, Wikipedia, Netflix, Better Sports, and Fantasy Alarm. We'll throw this up on Twitter. Vote for which one is your favorite, and we'll see who the winner is on tomorrow's show. Guys, coming up, we're going to talk free agent wide receivers and then some dynasty trade values as well. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Front Yard Fantasy with Simon, JL, and Coop.
Sell me on doing away with the 2-conference system in the NFL.
Is it really a sale whenever this is something that's commonly agreed upon? I'm selling you on water being wet. I'm selling you on something that is objectively true right here. We look at teams at the end of the season and we go, how the hell does one team have such an easy schedule while another team is just absolutely getting obliterated? And that's because of the 2-conference system, because the division system feeds into this conference system. It's a symptom of the greater problem. Like these divisional matchups, you're telling me it's fair that the Buccaneers are in the playoffs after playing the Panthers twice, the Falcons twice, and the Saints twice this year? That is unbelievable. There are multiple more deserving teams every single year that because of this system where we silo them into random groups, it determines the order. And yes, originally this was geography based, right? We had these divisions, they were geography. It's 2023, my dudes. Geography doesn't matter whenever it comes to the size of the United States. These teams can travel anywhere. They don't need to geographically locate them in divisions or conferences to make the games make more sense. If USC can be in the Big Ten, why the hell can't Miami play San Francisco every year? It can happen. They've got more money than these colleges and they're not taking classes. All it does is create an ecosystem where less talented teams can get rewarded for playing in weaker divisions and more talented teams are punished for continuing to improve.
Damn, bro.
Drop the mic.
I like to picture some geography teacher out there just threw a pen on the ground. He was like, how dare you? He smacked the globe. He was like, what do you
all
mean?
the hard work we've done.
2023 geography doesn't matter, right? Smacks his
You know
globe.
how long it took for us to get respect?
Globe goes spinning around, right? Geography doesn't matter. How dare
I'm
you?
just imagining they ripped on the world map and underneath is Algebra 2. Like they just go straight into being a math teacher.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray. Weekdays at noon Eastern, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Paper straws. Oh, they're so bad. Ray, I mean, I'm almost tempted to say screw Mother Earth. Give me a real straw. The paper straw thing is a step too far in saving the planet for me.
It's a great idea. The problem is it has to last. Like it can't go mushy halfway through my drink.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. They have a hard time standing up if you don't drink that.
100%. That's my issue, Ray. I'm all for taking care of the only planet we got. But Ray, some people like to drive a lot. I don't. I don't get on them for they have to drive 20 minutes to work every day. Can I just get a plastic straw? Like, I think, Ray, we should be able to pay for a card that says, I don't drive every day, so they said I could have this kind of environmental impact by getting a plastic straw. I am in favor, Ray, of government-issued plastic straws if I have the proof that I'm worthy of such a thing. If you want it, you get it. It's kind of like the Clear Pass. You know,
Yeah,
the
there you go.
airport.
Okay.
Like, Ray, I'd be willing to pay an extra $2 a year, and I get as many plastic straws as I want when I go out to the restaurant.
And the $2 goes toward cleaning the oceans or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's not a terrible idea. Not terrible.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. Tommy in the chat saying none of us drafted Disney, so nobody's watching the new episode of The Mandalorian that dropped today. John Luke, have you watched The Mandalorian at all?
I have watched The Mandalorian, but not recently because my Disney Plus subscription lapsed.
Oops. I haven't watched it yet.
I just
but
don't want to pay for it.
I feel you. I want to watch The Mandalorian, but I want to watch the Star Wars properties in order. It's the same problem I run into with the Marvel stuff is I get behind on one and then it feels like this insurmountable amount of like things I need to watch. And then I just get stuck. I'm on episode 4 of Obi-Wan, but that came out before or after the Mandalorian, I guess. So maybe I'm lying.
And they're all like Star Wars and Marvel. I would say Star Wars more so than Marvel are good about isolating the stories so that you really don't need all that extra context to enjoy it. it adds to it, but it doesn't make it so you can't enjoy it. Like, you can watch any of the Star Wars and still probably get something from it.
I think that's what I love about Clone Wars, the series. You can turn on any episode, unless it's one of the rare ones that's part of like a 2 or 3 episode arc, and you can just enjoy a self-contained story. But there is that overarching plot of the 7 seasons of Clone Wars.
Right.
So much.
And here's the thing with Mandalorian and my Disney Plus membership. I could go and get the login for it. Like, I know my sister's account was what I had before. She let it lapse, and then I just didn't hit her back up whenever she renewed it. So it's really not even a difficulty thing. It's just I'll get to it when I get to it. I don't feel like a crazy urgency to watch Mandalorian.
It's not number 1 on your list?
I'll get to it. I'll watch it eventually, you know?
Speaking of the Mandalorian, did you guys see the Pedro Pascal interview where he was hooked up to a lie detector test?
No.
They're asking him all these questions, and that man, watching that interview, I think I'm in love. He is contagiously and chaotically happy throughout that entire thing. They are stonewalling him, trying to keep him serious, and he is just like busting out laughing. The interviewer asked him, like, would you invite me to your birthday party? He said no. The person said he's lying, and he goes, bah! Like, just starts yeah, he said I wouldn't invite you to my birthday party. He's just so funny. But they asked him, did you ever call Grogu Baby Yoda while filming The Mandalorian? Which apparently it's like a big no-no on set. And he goes, yes, I did, but not on camera. And then just starts laughing. And
oh my God.
Never did on camera.
What an angel.
You got to go watch this interview. If you don't already love that man and you don't want to, then don't watch it. But if you're ready to fall in love with Pedro Pascal, go watch his lie detector interview. Because I'm like giggling and giddy thinking about just how happy that man was. Like, I left it with my mood elevated after watching that interview.
I mean, dude, if I was on like the 2 biggest TV shows running right now, then I would also be pretty happy.
There's a lot of other factors that go into it, and it's the outward contagious, like the way he showcases it, right? Yeah. It's awesome. Dustin said he's the next Nicolas Cage. Some big shoes to fill, but he might be up to it.
Yeah, he's got to.
National Treasure with Pedro Pascal would be so good.
Oh,
I'd watch the heck out of that mystery.
That's one you can't wait to watch. Like, you're like, I can wait to watch Mandalorian, but that's one of your scenes in theaters.
I'm ready.
Midnight. That's midnight showing.
Be there for the opening premiere in costume. You're dressed as Teddy Roosevelt, but from the Night Museum.
if it's him and Nicolas Cage.
Can you imagine showing up to a Night at the Museum, like grand opening, dressed as a character? That might be one of the funniest movies to dress up for. Like, just like
my fun fact is that my cousin was in the second one.
No way.
As like an extra.
That's
my fun fact. Is my cousin's fun fact.
What kind of what just kind of somebody in the background, or was he like a extra that was like in costume? Because there were like Civil War guys and stuff.
So it's 2 of my cousins were in it. One was like in a bus of kids, so like you can't see her at all. The other one was like with a family when he's like passing by them on the mall. Nice. And he's like, "Where's the blah 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 museum or whatever?" And
he had a line.
No. She didn't. She was just like the little kid in the family that he asked for directions. He's like, which direction is he? And like, I think one of them pointed, and then she's just like the kid.
Nice. That's awesome. Tommy said Genghis Khan 100%. That's
Genghis Khan.
That's
what is that in reference to?
Is it pronounced Genghis?
From that show?
Like with a J?
It's Genghis.
He's in Night at the
I always
Museum.
thought it was Genghis, but I'd never heard it said out loud.
You can say it either way. I think Genghis is like the more accurate pronunciation, but you can say either. Not a big deal. Nick in here saying he was amazing with Nick Cage in Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I have not seen Unbearable Weight of
Pedro
Massive
Pascal
Talent.
Was?
I've heard good things.
Is Pedro Pascal in something with Nick Cage? Because if so, that's breaking news.
That's something we all need to watch today.
They are both in that movie. I'm watching that very soon.
Whoa!
I actually saw. I've heard good things about that movie too. I actually saw a Nick Cage movie fairly recently that I thought was really good too. Did you guys see Pig with Nick Cage? It came out in 2021.
No.
Really, really good movie.
Scott says unbearable weight of massive talent has them both and is awesome. That's dope.
There you go.
Oh, I'm excited. I love both those guys. I cannot wait to watch it. Well, guys, we're about to get into free agent 007 wide receivers. Yesterday, we talked about some free agent running backs. Coop and JL doing the bulk of that heavy lift, and I jumped in at the end just to share some thoughts. But today, we're talking some free agent wide receivers. And as we've mentioned on this show previously, it is a bit of an underwhelming free agent wide receiver class. Juju Smith-Schuster, Alan Lazard, and Jacoby Myers, DJ Chark kind of leading the way. Maybe now we can expect Kenny Golladay to be thrown into that mix, but I don't even know if he's in the top tier with those other guys.
Yeah. What I like to do when I'm going through and I do my off-season series that's going on right now at fantasyalarm.com, I did find my hat right here. There you go. I like to break the guys down into because there's basically 3 different roles for wide receiver, 4 if you count like the return man, right? I mean, I guess you could break it down into even smaller type of roles, but the roles really are split end, which is the guy that splits out wide, tethers his foot to the line, can't go in motion, can't be a step off the line, so has to fight the jam. Those are usually bigger players. Then you have flanker and slot, right? Those are the main spots where you line up different roles, and not everybody can do all of them, right? Like you're never going to take Cole Beasley and line him up out wide and say, sit here with your foot tethered to the line and go one-on-one with Marshawn Lattimore. Like it's just not a role that he would do. So I try and break these guys up as best possible. And there's not a lot of split ends in this group. Like there's not a lot of guys that are like 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" that can do that role. There's basically like DJ Chark, Alan Lazard, and now Kenny Golladay, right? So like in terms of landing spots for those type guys, what kind of teams do you boys think could use a bigger outside wide receiver? Right? Like for instance, if you look at a team like the Bengals, they don't need one at all. They have T. Higgins, who's like 6'4". They have Jamar Chase, who's 6'2". I guess they don't need anything because they have Tyler Boyd in the slot. But like that's a team that wouldn't need a big guy.
Rashad Bateman's not a big guy, right? He's not a small guy. He's like 6'1", around that size. Maybe the Ravens could use a big guy on the outside. And that seems like the kind of wide receiver they like. I could totally see DJ Chark going to the Ravens. That makes sense, right?
It makes too much sense.
Right. Big 6'4" guy out there run blocking with the boys.
Exactly.
And I love that when you have a wide receiver that's kind of in the middle, right? Like he's not quite that, like he can do either role. It's such a great move to add a guy like that because now Rashad Bateman can be that flanker where he has a step back off the line. He can go in motion, right? He can do all those other things. Like same with like the Bills. Like with the Bills, if you like Stephon Diggs can be that guy, but what if you did just bring in a big split end? Now Diggs can line up in the slot. Now he can do a lot more creative things. So I love that idea, Simon, of like take a team that has a guy that could play that role and bring in somebody else that can also do that. And now you can get a lot more creative, right? If they bring in Jacoby Myers, Bateman still has to play on the outside, right?
Yeah. I mean, another team that kind of fits that mold that I think could be a landing spot for Alan Lazard or DJ Chark or some of these guys are the Tennessee Titans with Robert Woods, Nick Westbrook-Akine, all free agents. They're basically looking at Treylon Burks and that's it. Kyle Phillips is on their depth chart as well. But if they bring in an Alan Lazard down there, that seems like another team that would be a good fit for one of these big split end type guys.
Yeah.
And Alan Lazard seems like he'd be that, like he just feels like a Titan also. Like, you know what I mean? Like this feels like a move the Titans would bring in a guy, like get rid of Robert Woods.
Let's do it based on field. DJ Chark to the Ravens and Alan Lazard to the Titans.
The Titans.
I mean, that would be a pretty mean blocking unit. Treylon Burks is like 225 pounds too. So you got a couple big boys out there blocking for Derrick Henry.
The biggest boy.
The biggest boys.
For the biggest boy.
Yeah. The couple big boys and the biggest boy. That'd be a squad though, you know?
What if that was his nickname instead of King Henry? Like everyone just in all
biggest boy.
Call him the biggest boy.
The biggest boy.
And he owned it and he said it like he was tough.
I'm the biggest boy.
Not you.
You boys are big. It's even funnier hearing it from their perspective too. Like the Al Lazard and Traylon Burks are sitting there talking to each other, and we're like, we're pretty big boys. He's the biggest. He's
definitely the biggest.
You should see this other guy,
Derek. They're talking to somebody else, like a rookie. They're like, just so you know, me and Traylon, we're pretty big boys, but Derek,
he's the biggest boy.
He's the
Lazard just walks up to the newly drafted rookie and says, "You know, you may think I'm the biggest boy here, but you must not have met him yet."
You'd be mistaken.
Oh snap! Here comes Derek. He's the biggest. Oh my God, so yeah, those are kind of the big boys, and I like Tommy in the chat says Golladay to the Cowboys. That's another one where CeeDee Lamb, he has a lot of weight on his shoulders right now, and he was still able to produce by being the top dog. But if you can bring somebody, CeeDee Lamb's another guy who's not that big, like he's not like Mike Evans or anything. So, but if you can bring in somebody that can lift some weight on the outside, now you can mix and match Lamb and Gallup in the slot. It gets a lot easier for those guys. But that's why guys like that, anytime you see a guy get paid big money and you're like, why did they pay this guy? It's usually because he can play all three roles, play the outside role. Like Corey Davis is a good example of a guy that's why he gets paid. That's why he plays like 90% of the snaps, because he's a big boy, great run blocker. And, you know, there's no situation where you take him off the field. So, and that's why I look at some of these guys and people are like, Jacoby Myers is the best wide receiver in this free agent group. And I'm like, well, I mean, he's good at moving this, you know, catching short passes on third down, but is he the best overall wide receiver? I don't know. How do you guys feel? Do you lean more into utility, or do you just want the guy that is capable of putting up the best stats in the pass game?
Utility. I think the league is getting more and more specific, like right with their player usages and their player roles. The generalists, we're seeing them, they're the elite generalists almost, or the generalists that cover a lot of less high value roles, like someone who can punt and return, kickoff return, and come in on fourth down for the crazy plays, right? Like those are maybe less ideal roles. But I think if a team needs a split end, they're going to go out and get the big guy, right? If they need a slot wide receiver, they're going to prioritize more. Let's get the guy who's best in the slot instead of the best generalist, the guy that can be on the field all the time. I guess it also, some teams that need may be generalist. Know what I mean? Like they may need someone if their top wide receiver is, I don't know, what's the team in the worst wide receiver situation?
I'll tell you one.
The Giants need a generalist. They just need a guy that can be on the field all the time.
Yeah, I would say that another good example of a team, the Bears could, they just need anything, right? Another good example of a team that has the luxury of going for a Jacoby Myers or a Juju would be the Atlanta Falcons, because right now they basically have one guy under contract, one meaningful player. Like, you know, I mentioned Jared Bernhardt, the lacrosse player, the other day. He's under contract,
Barnett.
Yeah, fake
Barnhart.
Gary
Barnhart.
Gary Barnburner. Yeah, Jared Barnhart. Like they basically have Drake London and nobody else. They have Drake London, who's a big boy. They have. We gotta stop saying big boy. I gotta stop. They have Drake London.
Kyle Pitts.
They have Kyle Pitts, also a big boy. So they have enough. And Kyle Pitts plays 60-70% of his snaps at wide receiver anyway. So they have those big outside guys. They don't need another one of those really. So they're in a spot to sign somebody like Jacoby or Juju, and then just let that person do what they do best. Right?
No, don't put Juju on the Falcons, please.
I know that would be.
Please don't do it.
Yeah.
There's a couple teams that like need wide receivers that I am just not looking forward to the players that I don't get to be excited for when they land there.
Yeah,
like
I feel that
the second guy on the Panthers, like they need another guy after DJ Moore. It's not Terrace Marshall, I don't think, but like,
come on,
I'm gonna be sad. The
Let
Patriots.
Terrace Marshall live.
I like Terrace Marshall. I just don't think for fantasy he's the dude. The Giants, yeah, like maybe I got a little bit more hope for the Giants than for like the Falcons or the Panthers next year.
Juju actually might be all right on the Patriots with Bill O'Brien, because if you think back to Bill O'Brien,
the Patriots isn't unreasonable. I think that could be interesting.
Just because they have like Bill O'Brien back in like 2007 to 2011. Just think about like Wes Welker and like Edelman and those guys. Like he's got plays. He has playbooks specific for that type of player. So I think that'd be okay. But you're right. Like most guys that aren't,
They just don't pass enough.
Exactly. Like if you put a guy like Chark over there, I hate it because he's like an outside tall speed guy. So it's just not going to work for him. You know what I mean?
Let me put this in your guys' head. Keenan Allen gets traded. Or I'm sorry, Keenan Allen no longer on the Chargers. Juju goes to the Chargers. They're different kinds of receivers. This wouldn't be an exact match, but I think he would be more of a compliment to Mike Williams than maybe Keenan is.
It's true because Keenan is that, like what I just described with DJ Chark. Mike Williams is basically just a better version of that, right?
Yeah, Simon, is that just? I feel like that for you specifically.
I just got very excited because I love Justin Herbert. I love Juju Smith-Schuster. I love Mike Williams, and I think that would be a positive for all three of those guys.
That's what I'm saying.
And next year already is lining up for Justin Herbert to really take off that next step, get that old OC out of there, stop it with all the dump offs.
I wish they would have kept Keenan and did like the dual threat with Juju. That would have been sick. For how much that offense passes, they could run like 3 wide receivers.
Justin Herbert. You're wishing they kept Keenan in this hypothetical that you've created?
Yes, yeah,
100%. I wish that could have been possible. But, but that's the thing is though, it's like you're right in the sense that like it almost Keenan Allen has to be released for them to afford Juju, right?
Yeah.
And the thing with your hypothetical is it kind of hurts because I'm obviously a big tight end guy. It hurts my hypothetical dream of Keenan Allen and Gerald Everett both get cut, and then it becomes like the slam dunk tight end landing spot, you know? So
right,
just whoever it is.
Yeah, I guess that would definitely it could not support. Offense, you max at 3.
The problem is Austin Eckler is just a target hog too, so it does kind of rain on that parade.
Yeah,
absolutely. Tommy's saying Ingram to the Chargers, nice fit. Yeah, now it's just Coop's full-on dream scenario. They cut Keenan Allen. They don't sign somebody else like Juju. Evan Ingram signs there. Wheels up.
Wheels all the way up. What other teams are very neat? We've mentioned the Falcons. We've mentioned the Ravens. We've mentioned the Bears, the Cowboys, the Patriots, the Giants, the Titans. Lions.
For teams that need the Jujus of the world, like I look and say, okay, who has a big outside guy that could use like a flanker? And one team seems pretty obvious, and that's the Colts. The Colts have Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman is like your prototypical outside split end face. You know, he's like Mike Evans, basically. He's built the same way. He can do all the same stuff. That leaves the spot opposite him wide open. They were using Alec Pierce. They're using Paris Campbell. Paris Campbell also a free agent. I mean, if they don't bring somebody in, Alec Pierce becomes very interesting. But I mean, opposite Pittman, there's a spot wide open for a guy that played 95% of the snaps.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I have zero excitement about a wide receiver going to that Colts team right now with the question mark at quarterback. Like, who's it going to be?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Marcus Mariota?
A rookie, CJ Stroud.
Not a team player.
Yeah, they're one of the top candidates to trade up one of those guys.
Right. Marcus Mariota is not a team player.
Yeah, couldn't survive.
Or maybe he just really did need his knee surgery. You know,
could be the case.
Or maybe he just needed time away from all his coworkers in their time of need.
Yeah, maybe Drake London's annoying as hell, and we just don't know.
Or Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, maybe Kyle Pitts just won't.
I'm the biggest boy
about the Bachelor.
I'm the biggest boy.
And Marcus is like, God, I've told you this 1,000 times. Derrick Henry is so much bigger than you. And Mariota's like, I played with him. I know he's bigger.
He's the bigger boy.
They were in Tennessee at the same time, right? I'm not.
Yeah.
Mariota and Henry, they played together.
I'm sure.
I don't know, dude. Quarterbacks, it's like a time machine. Mariota has been in the league for like 9 years, and he still feels young.
That's what I'm saying. Is like it feels right, but it doesn't feel 100% confident. It doesn't feel right, guys. Coming up, we've got our friend Alex joining the show. the trade daddy, aka peaked in high school, to talk some dynasty trade values with us. Right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
As a longtime baseball fan, here's my message to other baseball fans, to steal a line from the Packers' future Hall of Fame quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, RELAX. Everyone needs to relax after what we saw this past weekend as spring training games out in Arizona and down in Florida got going, and we're inching closer and closer to Major League Baseball opening day. The rule changes in Major League Baseball is not for myself. It's not for you out there, the hardened baseball fan, whether you're a fan 5, 10, 15, 30, or even 50 years from all around this great country. It's not for those that are going to be locked in. It's for trying to generate more fans. So if they want the pitcher to go out there and work in rhythm with a guy on base, begin the windup within 20 seconds, nobody on base, begin the windup within 15 seconds, or have the batter make sure that he's back in the batter's box within 8 seconds, then making the base pass first, second, and third bigger, eliminating the shift. All of this is to make the game better. We've seen leagues, whether it be the National Football League, do you think it's the same league as it is today in 2023, or what we saw in 2022 as it was 30 years ago? No, it's not. Is NBA basketball the same? No. How many games do you see being played? 83, 79 finals. You don't see that at all. So every league adjusts to try and bring what? More fans into the sport. And that is something that Major League Baseball is going out there and trying to do. I've been critical at times of Rob Manfred, whether or not as a MLB commissioner, whether he likes the sport based on some of the rhetoric that he has spewed in years gone by. But I got to be honest with you, as a longtime baseball fan, I've been a Yankee fan my entire life. Watched a ton of Met games here in the tri-state area. Watched baseball all around. Can't wait for October baseball. Think it's absolutely unbelievable what is transpiring now and what's happening now, and the rule changes being brought about baseball. It's going to bring back to the game to when I became a fan, where the stolen base was something, moving guys over was something, having men on base, batting averages ascending, not being an all or nothing league where either you're striking out or hitting the ball over the fence. And that is what baseball is trying to do. So as everybody tries to adjust, and change is difficult, whether you're changing your diet, exercise routine, changing your relationships, changing a job, change is different. I get that. And it's hard. But let's take a step back. Let's understand what Major League Baseball is trying to do here. And they're trying to repopulate or repopularize the sport. That's what they're trying to do. They're clearly the third most popular sport in the United States. They want to make it less regionalized. This is the way they need to go about doing it. I'm all for it. For more content like this, download the Better Sports Network app or go to bettersports.com.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. Joining us right now to talk some dynasty trade values is our good friend Alex, aka peaked in high school trade daddy himself, the creator of the all-powerful trade value charts. We're going to be talking some dynasty trade values with trade daddy himself ever so shortly. What's up, trade daddy?
No song. Wait, I always talk over it.
Trade daddy, baby, I got your money. Don't you worry. I said, hey, sorry, I was muted.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry,
I was genuinely hurt.
Sorry, man.
Alex looks forward to it every week. He tells his wife on Friday mornings, he wakes up and he's like, today's the day I hear the song. And today's Wednesday, actually.
I can't wait.
I'm genuinely hurt that you're not wearing a sleeveless shirt today.
It was cardio day, so I finished early and got to shower.
Wow.
Nice.
Impressive.
Always finish early on cardio day. Yeah.
Always fancied up for us, but still disappointing. So disappointing. You got to give us a quick flex.
I pop it off.
Scott Fish said the headline here is Alex and I are connected on LinkedIn now.
Ooh, how's the fantasy content over on LinkedIn?
There's some of it.
It's there.
Yeah.
how's the fantasy content? Some. Do people actually post like, here's my article?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it depends who you follow, for sure. Mine's really environmental engineering focused. So it's, if you want to look at some drill rigs, you can follow my stuff. But
Sexy.
yeah.
Mine's still geared towards real estate. I gotta switch that over.
Mine's
Dustin.
geared towards LinkedIn.
Yeah, LinkedIn. I am chief of LinkedIn.
LinkedIn themed LinkedIn.
Chief
Just
LinkedIn
a
officer.
I'm really popular with the LinkedIn staff. They message me like every day. They always want to talk. Like, come on, guys, I get it. Like,
I'm
you think it'd be
busy.
cool if I use your site more, but I'll respond when I can get to it.
And
Laura
everyone's so
from LinkedIn.
Everyone's so friendly. They're always just like, happy work anniversary and happy birthday, right? And the messages are always so similar. They're always
It's because you just click a button and it just tells you what to say. Like LinkedIn, you can just click, congrats, thank you, sounds good, talk to you tomorrow.
Chat GPT.
I like to respond in full. Just be like, thank you so much for thinking of me. Like, yeah, how did you even know it's my birthday?
Dustin in here, excited for Alex. Said, Alex, the man, the myth, the legend. Are you all of those things?
I'm probably a man. The myth, legend, definitely not.
Well, the charts that you create are legendary, and I want to get into talking about some of these. If you guys are not familiar with Alex's trade value charts, familiarize yourself quickly. We will put a familiarize yourself rather rapidly, because these are going to be your best friend this offseason as you're trying to create some trades. Alex, do you want to explain to people how you create these, and we'll get a link in the chat so they can be looking at them while we're talking through?
Sure. So they're model generated, where we pull in some market expert consensus rankings, break them out by position to look at it, and then also pull in a separate feed to look at pick values versus all of those. The picks are the hard part because those change a lot. And even how we parse them changes during the season. Whereas we're starting to break them out by like early, middle, late. After the draft, we'll break it out by 1.01, 1.02, because we have a little bit better idea of what those values are. But right now, we really don't. And even in season, it's even more. It's just a 2023 first, because you might think it'll be an early 2023 first, but shockingly, it's not always that way. So you got to know what you're trading for. And a lot of the time we don't until we do. So that's how it changes. And even post NFL draft, we'll see them get a little bit more precise, a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, we've talked about this a little bit before, but with you bringing up draft picks, I wanted to get your insight, since you've been creating these and clearly watching them over the past couple of years. How does the value of draft picks change as we get closer to the draft? Do they continuously rise, or is it draft class dependent?
It's really draft class dependent. A lot of the time, the combine can drop them. Let's Isaiah Spiller was the example we used last week, where he was some people's 102 in one quarterback, or after Ken Walker and 102, 103. Like, people loved him. He tanked the combine, so that devalued the 102 significantly there. And then same in Superflex, when Malik and Ritter didn't go till the third, we saw those picks kind of separate. We saw a little bit more differentiation there. This year could happen again. Let's say for some reason Bryce Young doesn't go until the third. I don't know how, but if he doesn't, we'll see the 102 and Superflex drop way down the board.
The only way that happens is if they accidentally added a 0 onto his height and he's actually 5'1.5", not 5'10.5".
Yeah,
otherwise, he's not dropping to the third round.
No.
That being said, I also thought Malik Willis would get drafted before the third round last year, but these are different tiers of prospects.
For sure.
So maybe not fair to compare them. That is interesting, because in my mind, I always just assume draft picks, as draft gets closer, become more valuable. And that probably is like a general trend, but there's things that can throw it off. Landing spots, combine, that we got to watch out for. Some of these landmines, maybe value-wise. So maybe those are like cliffs. Maybe there's certain players that have more value, or picks that you're nervous about that you should be looking to trade before those events, because there aren't very many events in the offseason that change player value.
And we know when they are, right?
We know exactly, it's on the calendar. You can just check it off on your calendar and be like, before this date.
Yeah.
Are you guys, like, for example, the 103 this year, are you concerned about that in a Superflex league? Like, what if something goes weird? Like, I mean, is there any prospect that really, like, I just started digging in a little bit more. I mean, there's top 2 I'm pretty excited about, but then 103, I could see that going a lot closer to the mid-first value if something doesn't happen on draft night, I guess.
I think 4 is where I draw that line.
4.
it's one running back and then the two QBs. I am fairly confident in CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, just from like a prospect perspective. Sure, things go wrong, but they're worthy of that like top 3 pick in my mind. And then Bijan is about as exciting of a prospect as we've had since Saquon Barkley. So he's up there. But then we look at Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, Jackson Smith and Jigba, any of these wide receivers that you've got up near the top. Yeah, it's a big drop off over those 3 for me, just based on like my certainty that they're going to be worth that pick.
Yeah, I think I'm right in line with you, Simon. I think that is where the cutoff is for me as well. Those top 3 seem to be locked in. And of course, this is all pre-draft, right? Landing spot might shift some of this stuff, but at least talent alone, I think those 3 guys separate themselves.
Yeah, if Jahmyr Gibbs ends up on the Dolphins or something, know what I mean? Like if we get one of those like next running backs gets drafted into one of the prime landing spots, then they might move up and make that pick a little more valuable. Or maybe I fall in love with one of the wide receivers between now and then. I haven't dug into them too much, but I get what you're saying. Like that 4 pick, there's a lot of volatility with the combine and the draft. The landing spot could make the value of that pick skyrocket if we get something like the dream landing spot, or the value of that pick could just absolutely plummet that day if there's just not good landing spots for the next group of guys, which, as we were just talking about wide receivers, there's a lot of not good landing spots for these wide receivers.
So I wanted to go through some of these trade values and identify which of these players. It seems like every offseason we have this overconfidence coming into the offseason with the player situations are going to be similar, that their output's going to be similar. So I want to identify some of these targets that are potential maybe landmines, or the opposite, these like sleeper targets in terms of like players we expect their value to really shift a lot over this offseason. Are any of those guys that stick out to you guys?
1 QB or super flex? What are we looking at today?
Either one, I think.
I have super flex open.
Let's pull up super flex today. If I look at quarterbacks, I think there's 2 names. They're already very high up. They could truly take that jump into that top tier of guys value-wise, where they're almost untrade forable, like a Patrick Mahomes, like a Josh Allen, like a Jalen Hurts, like that top tier of value. And that's Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. Like those guys are on the precipice for me. You know what I mean? Like if you want to trade for those guys, do it this offseason, because if they put together an improved season next year, it doesn't even have to be on the level of those guys. Just show they've taken that next step. Man, good luck trading for those players.
Yeah, their current trade value, according to these charts, is 80 and 77 for Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, respectively. I'm with you, Simon. It does feel like they have some room to go, even though they're quarterbacks, 7 and 8 on this list.
Would you be shocked? Like Justin Fields, almost nobody in the league can do what he can do on the ground, right? If he just elevates his game as a passer ever so slightly, why isn't he up there with Jalen Hurts as far as the top quarterbacks? Josh Allen. Makes sense.
Jalen up there is interesting as well. I feel like that's a development, even though I guess it was like that last month as well.
Yeah. It took a long time for him to get up there. He was depressed on the market one for all of 2022. The only person that was not the only, but the ones that I did for The Athletic that Jake Seeley worked on, he was on Jalen Hurts May of last year. He had him in tier 2. He was not the only guy. I'm sure there was other people, but he was the one pounding his fist on the table. And I bet he crushed it because of how high he was on him in Dynasty last year. Yeah.
It is interesting. God, it's so much fun watching Jalen Hurts too. I'm just happy that he's getting that respect up there in the top tier. But yeah, those names stick out to me. And then another one, like we're in the quarterback row, Deshaun Watson's value is sitting down there pretty freaking low. And if he comes out and plays like he played prior to sitting out for a couple years, we're gonna see his value rise as well.
So he's sitting at currently 66 trade value points. He dropped down 8.6 from last month to this month, which is kind of an interesting trend. That's an interesting note. But he's up there. He's now spot 12 here, 11 or 12. in this list to
Yeah.
give you some span of reference here or place of reference. Also, we got Dame in the chat. Good morning, guys. I disrespected Simon's direction to sleep in and watch later.
How dare you?
Gosh dang it, Dame.
Gosh damn it.
That's pretty good.
Thanks.
Good morning, Dame. Welcome in. Glad to see you.
And the more I keep looking at this quarterback row, it is interesting to Deshaun Watson's value dropping from the end of the season to now. I don't know what continued to change or if it was just people continuing to like a trend. He was going down. His value continues to go down during the offseason because nothing's changed.
Right.
I think it's an echo chamber of everyone of he was so not impressive to end the season, and that's all they remember because he didn't have a strong start because he didn't start until pretty late in the season. I expect him to kind of level out. I wouldn't be surprised if Murray drops a little bit more, especially with just anything could happen. He's one that's a little concerning. Who knows what's going to go on with that? And
I think maybe like I could also see it going the other way for Murray as well, because I feel like there's a lot of uncertainty around him. And while that could continue to depress his value, if things get a little clearer there in Arizona, if we get positive reports coming out, just something to, I'm going to say this word wrong, assuage the nerves of the people that are nervous about Kyler Murray. Maybe his value goes up a little bit, but that does seem like another volatile player. Yeah, it's not assuage.
Assuage.
Which is what I always want to say. That's how I always want to say it. Assuage.
I think some interesting ones would be Tannehill, Jimmy G, Desmond Ridder, those guys down in tier orange. I don't know what that is. Tier 6.
Tier orange.
Tier orange.
Just to add one thing on Kyler Murray, I was looking at Super Bowl odds. The Cardinals are at the very bottom. I was surprised how far down they are. Literally second to last in Super Bowl odds. So not a lot of belief in this Cardinals team.
I wonder, like, once you get past a certain point down there, if the odds are just generated for revenue reasons only. Know what I mean? Like it's just like no one's betting on the Cardinals, so let's make their odds really bad. Like they're not as popular of a team. They're not going to win the Super Bowl. So
someone is taking a long shot bet.
That's what I'm saying. If they make the odds big enough for a team like that isn't as popular to bet on, maybe they get some more action that way.
That might be it, but it's like you look at the drop off, it's like the Patriots are like plus 6,000. Nobody thinks they're going to win. The Commanders plus 8,000, Bucks plus 8,000, Titans plus 8,000. Teams like the Colts plus 18,000. Cardinals are also plus 18,000. The only team with worse odds than those guys are plus 20,000, $100 to win 20,000. So like, what is it about these Cardinals that these sports books are like, they're never going to win, but if you want to bet $100 on them, we'll give you 20 grand. That's how confident we are they're not.
I think it's the uncertainty around the team there. And that probably is bleeding into Kyler Murray's trade value on this chart as well.
Yeah. I think that's not good.
That tier of quarterback you brought up, Alex, the Ryan Tannehill, Jimmy Garoppolo, Desmond Ridder is interesting because it feels like for Jimmy Garoppolo, his value, if he just gets a job, his value skyrockets, right? Goes up at least a couple tiers. But Desmond Ridder is interesting because he's a young, relatively high draft capital quarterback. We're not talking first round pick. That did get the start towards the end of last year, and they just cut Marcus Mariota. So I'm expecting, like with Mariota cut, this value to rise probably immediately with the potential for more room as the season gets closer.
Yeah. When I look at this group of guys, there's an interesting omission, right? Because you have like Sam Howell, Desmond Ridder. They're the number one guy on the depth chart right now. Jordan Love, he's on the list, number one guy on the depth chart right now. I noticed that Kyle Trask. So like Malik Willis isn't even the starter on his team, and he got benched last year. Malik Willis on the list. Kyle Trask isn't anywhere on here. Yeah. What are your thoughts on a guy like Kyle Trask, where right now he's set to be the starter, but I mean, according to like the census, and the chart reflects how I feel too. Like I've had no interest in him. I don't know anybody that's interested, but he is currently the QB1. What do you guys feel about Trask? Do you think that he's a guy that's worth stashing in 2 QB leagues, or
Alex, a player that doesn't show up on the charts, is that just there's not enough people ranking him for him to be on there?
Right.
So he had a rank. It was I have the wrong computer. It was probably he probably just missed the cut. And I think it's just because there's been at the time when I ran this last week, 2 weeks ago maybe, there was just no positive news about him.
Right.
He's never started, right? They had like Gabbert starting over him. It's just if I'd say if we get like one positive report of like, hey, he's our, like what happened to Sam Howell, like where they're like, oh yeah, he's the dude. Now they're kind of stepping back. I saw a report on the Dynasty subreddit where they were saying, well, he is a quarterback on the team. Kind of was what they came back to.
Tom Bowles said that. They were like, he's QB1. And then they were like, well, he's not the starter just yet.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. He's technically a quarterback on the team. Yeah. Right. But I mean, if they came out and said that, like, hey, I mean, but all they've said is that he's going to compete for a job is the last report I saw on Trask. But if they're like, hey, he's our guy, they don't draft anyone. I mean, he at least, he would jump up to the top of tier 7, right? Like he would be above Brock Purdy. Probably, right?
I don't know.
Makes me think maybe you should start slinging out some trade offers for Kyle Trask if he's not even on this chart. Right now, he's the starter. Starting QBs are very hard to find, especially at the beginning of the season on the waiver wire in a dynasty league. So go fire off some like 4th round pick for Kyle Trask trade offers.
Superflex league, JL. Would you rather have, let's say, 12-man league? Somebody had pick 310. Would you rather have pick 310 or Kyle Trask?
310.
What about you guys? What about you guys, Simon? I mean, that's it's an indictment, but at the same time, in Superflex, those later picks become more valuable. What would you, Simon?
I'll take Kyle Trask. I'll take Trask.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say Trask.
I'll take Kyle Trash.
Kyle Trash.
Jesus.
I'm so sorry, Kyle. That was truly an accident.
Yeah.
Freudian slip.
Yeah,
Alex, what are you taking? Trask?
You said 12 team 310. I would take Kyle at that point. I would probably take him
Superflex,
maybe like 305. Like
Jail.
A name that sticks out here that in this group here, this is that you guys have mentioned is Sam Howell, who's jumped up 19.6 trade value points from last month to this month. He's right here above Desmond Ridder. It looks like he had negative trade value points before, so now he's hopped up. Some interesting news. We didn't bring it up in BYOB, but Ron Rivera came out and said he's not necessarily the starter, reversing on some news that we got earlier in the off season.
And I think I don't want to speak for Alex on this, but I think the difference between Trask and Howell is that we had the previous news where they came out and said, in the Washington's offensive coordinator search, they've been informing candidates that Sam Howell is a guy that they like and's in the mix. So I think if the same thing happened with Trask and they said, hey, by the way, we're letting candidates know that Trask is a guy we really like, then he probably would have the same jump. That's how quickly things can change with the news cycle, right?
Right.
Yeah. So what do you think, Alex? Would you rather have Sam Howell or Kyle Trask?
I'd rather have Sam Howell right now. But like, I would sell him. I would also sell him at the value of 18 if you can. Like I would send him for. But I say that, but then I look like, would I trade him for Kenny Gainwell, Nico Collins? I would maybe trade him for Chig Okonkwo just because.
Love Chig.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
If you could trade him for. If you could trade him, it's a little bit higher up, but Elijah Mitchell. Would you trade Sam Howell for Elijah Mitchell in the Superflex League?
No. The upside of Sam Howell is better than a backup running back on a good backup running back on a good running team with a guy that just happens to get hurt a fair amount. Yeah. I think the upside of Sam Howell is higher.
I just saw very interesting comments on Elijah Mitchell from the 49ers. He was the 49ers, one of their head scouts, and now he's, I think, a GM for another team. He came out and said that one of his analytics guys came to him with a sheet of paper and was like, this guy, Elijah Mitchell, checks every box that us analytics guys like. And the scout basically was like, I'm not going to walk up to Kyle Shanahan with a piece of paper and say that. So I need you to watch film on this guy and see if you can confirm that. And then they did that and ended up drafting him. But the analytics loved that guy, Elijah Mitchell. I thought that was kind of interesting that like this guy was like, look, we need to confirm it with the film, but the numbers are all there.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I think he has a role. I think maybe his value's been a little bit discounted here with some of the names that he's around I guess it's about right. Damian Harris, Devin Singletary, Michael Carter. That's relatively fair for Elijah Mitchell. Relatively fair spot.
Yeah.
Now,
So-
another quarterback that I did want to bring up that's value has dropped that I think is in that same conversation that could jump up near that top tier is Tua Tagovailoa. Tua Tagovailoa, his value, I have to imagine, is related to a lot of the concussion-related news. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Because what we saw from him when he was healthy this year was a huge step up, right? He looked phenomenal with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle locked up, that offense looking like it's clicking and improving. He's a guy that could jump a couple tiers. Alex, I see his value moving down right now, minus 5.8. Has that been a constant trend this season? Are we seeing his value continue downward, or were there jumps like when he came back from injury?
He definitely started in the tier 5, like I would say August of last year. Like he was just, I mean, you kind of remember the sentiment of he throws shallow, he can't do anything, and then he just kind of was like, nah, I'm good, and then started just yeeting the ball downfield, and looked good. And he flew up the board, and then the concussion stuff, he dropped back down to like tier 5 in, I'd say November, December, when he was just the two in a week or something. And then the third one really messed with people. They really were out on him. And he started climbing back up, and he's been hovering around 50 to 60 now, I would say. Kind of depends on what report comes out the most recently on whether or not he stays at like quarterback 12 or drops to like quarterback 14, which just is that shift in value.
That makes sense.
It's so interesting to have somebody like Alex that's like truly plugged into the sentiment, because you're doing this every week, right? So you see what the sentiment is. I totally forgot about that narrative that Tua was just going to dump it down to Jalen Waddle, like low ADOT passes. Turns out he did like throwing to Jalen Waddle, but Waddle's ADOT with this coach went from 7 with the old coach up to 12. And then, like you said, when that did happen, there he goes up the chart. So it's kind of cool to have somebody that's plugged into that and can say, hey, remember this? Like this is how the sentiment changed, and and it helps to predict how it could change moving forward. Like you said, he could go right back up. So presents a buy window now.
Yeah.
I just sent a trade for him, even like I just bought him. Like I doubled down. Like I'm in on it.
Well, then heck, while we got you, is there anybody else that you think, because like you just mentioned how Kyle Trask, we get one piece of news, he's going to shoot up the chart. So you want to maybe throw an offer on a guy like that now. Is there anybody else that you've been thinking that sentiment is down, but you're the sentiment tracker and you don't think it's deserved? Is there anybody that you've also been throwing offers at, or that jumps out at you?
I tried to send offers for Drake London. No one's actually really down on him, but it I don't know. It just kind of feels like it, but everyone says it feels like it, so it probably just isn't.
Right.
I love Drake London. Like I tried to send him, and they're like, well, yeah, send him in a second for Garrett Wilson. I was like, well, no, I value them almost the same. So why would I send a second on top? Like
I just talked about a Drake London trade yesterday that I saw that was interesting. It was pretty heavy for Drake London. Let's see, I don't even know if I can find it, but it was basically 2 firsts, a 2023 first this year, mid, and then a 2024 first and second, and DJ Moore for Drake London.
I want the package for that one. That's a lot. If it's a mid first, a first next year, and a second, and DJ Moore for London.
It's heavy, but that was a trade that got accepted. I believe you when you say you couldn't trade for Drake London. Yeah, because I've seen him going for crazy value.
Speaking of trades, we got Dame in the chat. So I was just offered Howe for the 108 and 12-team Superflex, which I declined. Yeah, good call.
I want that
Good
one.
call.
Yeah,
He's a 5th round pick in the real NFL draft. So
yeah,
the odds are pretty stacked against him still. Like I think now is the time to cash out. But in terms of
Alex's trade value charts, these like mid and late first that, like, let's call that a mid first. You're looking at Trey Lance, Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones. You go down a tier, it's Geno Smith, Aaron Rodgers, Jared Goff. You're well ahead of the Sam Howell range for the 108.
Yeah, for sure. And we got Better Boss in the chat said trade for Justin Fields now.
I'm with you. You're still going to have to trade a lot to get Justin Fields, but this may be your last opportunity to not have to trade everything to get Justin Fields.
Right.
So would you send the 102 for Justin Fields?
Absolutely.
You would rather have Justin Fields than Bryce Young?
Yep. Give it to me.
Yep.
I've seen him on the field. I've seen him do it.
Sure, dude. I mean, like the thing is,
It's a conversation, though.
It is.
In just about every draft class, though, every year, almost every year, like I typically prefer players that have proven they can do it in this league over the rookies, just because even first round picks at quarterback, wide receiver, running back, the hit rate is still only 50%. So almost always I would take Drake London, who was the wide receiver 5 in the entire league in target share. I know they didn't throw a ton, but he had that going for him. I would take that over most guys, except for a year like this where you have Bijan Robinson and everyone's saying he's Saquon Barkley. Like, it has this generational hit rate. But like, for the most part, I take the guys that are players now because it's easy to forget how many guys were Corey Davis or N'Keal Harry or Jalen Reagor, right? Like, we just forget about those guys and just pretend like they didn't happen, that they weren't first round picks, you know? So I don't know. I would take Drake London over pretty much. If he was available in my draft, I would just take him one-on-one and I with a big smile on my face. He's 22.
Absolutely. Well, guys, that is going to be it for today. Alex, I wanted to thank you so much for taking the time to come on with us and breaking down some of these trade value charts.
Yeah, I will try and get another version out post combine, and then maybe another one probably post the start of legal tampering. I think that's going to be and then maybe chill until after the draft. But those are the ones where things can actually shift around and we see some movement.
Bingo.
Beautiful. Well, guys, go follow Alex on Twitter. If you're not doing so already, you can find him on Twitter at PeakedInHS_FF. We'll see you next week, Alex. Thanks so much for joining us. Guys, that is going to be it for us here on the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show today. We will be back tomorrow morning and Friday morning, and then starting back again on Monday every day, Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, though, we are out of here, everybody. Go enjoy the rest of your combine and Wednesday football. Adios, everyone. Until next time.